from the Northern Michigan University Hockey Blue Line Club.
From the Dane County Memorial Coliseum in Madison, Wisconsin, it's WCHA hockey action as tonight the Wisconsin Badgers take on the Wildcats of Northern Michigan University in the 10th meeting between the two schools. And the Cardinal and White have skated to 7 victories, and they have lost only 2 times. Along with Bill Howard, this is Paul Brown, set to bring you play-by-play action as the Badgers come out onto the ice here at the Dane County Memorial Coliseum, led by their goaltender tonight, Dean Anderson, a sophomore out of Oshawa, Ontario, with an overall record of 13-5 and a goals against average of 4 goals per game. And Mike Richter played both games last weekend. Dean Anderson was not very happy about it. Is that one of the reasons he's in the nets tonight?
No. Okay, but it goes with the territory that some weekends you're going to play once, some weekends you're going to play twice, some weekends you may not play at all. Because, you know, unlike other positions in hockey, you can only play one goalie.
And as far as the rest of the lineup for the Wisconsin Badgers is concerned, it's the same one that was in the Minnesota Duluth last weekend, where the Badgers split with the Bulldogs of Minnesota Duluth. Northern Michigan is having a pretty good year, Mr. Howard.
Well, they were right up there in the top 2, 3, 4 teams early in the season, Paul, but as their coaches indicated, again, only the 2nd year in the league, and that constant week after week after week after week against good competition, it's caught up with them, and they've had some up and down games because of that. They were a very, very good team early on, and now have evened off in the 500 area, but they're a good hockey team, and they have the capabilities, and if you look through who they've beaten this year and who they've lost to, of beating anybody in the league on a given night and also losing to anybody in a given night. Consistency's been their problem.
Don't fool yourself, though, in thinking that they're not a good hockey team, as Bill mentioned. They have played 4 games with Denver this year. They have won 2 of those games, and they have defeated Boston College twice by scores of 4-3 and 8-5. And obviously, Boston College is one of the better teams in the East.
As important as this game is, so are the scores around the league. Denver leads Tech 2-1, I would guess, late in the first period.
For the Northern Michigan Wildcats, in goal from Brentwood, New York, number 1, Dennis Genarius. At left defense from North Vancouver, British Columbia, number 27, Dave Randall. At right defense from Edmonton, Alberta, number 4, John Good. At center from Edmonds, Washington, number 12, Bob Curtis. At left wing from Warren, Michigan, number 20, Jeff Gray. And at right wing from Kitimat, British Columbia, number 11, Kevin Trapp. Northern Michigan Wildcats. And now for the University of Wisconsin Badgers. In goal from Oshawa, Ontario, number 31, Dean Anderson. At left defense from Richfield, Minnesota, number 7, Tim Thomas. At right defense from Superior, Wisconsin, number 17, Marty Wheeler. At center from Madison, Wisconsin, number 22, Tom Ryan. At left wing from Edina, Minnesota, number 20, Dave Bailey. And at right wing from Toronto, Ontario, number 19, Scott Mellenby. Now will you please rise and join Professor Mike LaCrone and the UW Varsity Band for the playing and singing of our national anthem.
consecutive victory over the Northern Michigan Wildcats in the Dane County Coliseum. Played 6 times, have won all 6, and let's hope to keep that streak going. And to give you some idea of the type of team that Wisconsin is playing against, Northern Michigan, a very offensive team. The officials tonight, Larry Thomas, the linesmen Tom Egan and Al Welling. And by offense, I just quickly ran up a couple stats, Paul. 16 times this season they've scored 5 or more goals. And get this one, 17 times this season they've allowed 5 or more goals. So they've been involved in some real wild shootouts, and that is not what Wisconsin would like to do here.
You expect this to be a high-scoring game, Bill?
Well, I got my score down, and we're just predicting everything. There it is, 7-5, Wisconsin. Okay.
Now let's keep in mind, if it's 7-5, Wisconsin, the 5 goals that Anderson may give up may not all be his fault, right?
Well, we are not worried about goal against this year. The criteria, a lot of people look at the stats and say, well, play this guy or that guy because of the stats. You play someone not because of his statistics. You play someone because of at that particular time he's playing well or better than somebody else.
What's the scouting report on Generis?
Well, he catches with the wrong hand. And actually, he's played fairly well, Paul. He's got his goal against under 4, 3.9, and he's stopping about 88% of the shots. So he's done a good job in the nets for him. He's 14-7-1.
Don't pick on left-handers now. I'm left-handed too, you know. Those guys are nice guys too, or gals. And we're underway. The face-off at center ice, played to the blue line of the Badgers. Knocked down to Marty Wiedela, head-manning the puck in the neutral zone. Coming over is Dave Maley over to set it up, going cross-ice in the pass. 19:47 remaining in the first period. No score here from the Coliseum. Played down to the right wing corner of the Wildcat zone. Over to Randall. Played it around to the far side over the track. Head-manning the puck over to center ice, intended for Curtis. Curtis chasing it down with Marty Wiedela on the far side. Cleared by Ryan of Wisconsin. Here's Ryan moving it up ice in the left wing. Ryan coming in over the line. Drop pass over to Maley. Tried to go back toward the slot. Ryan tried to hold it in. Deflected back in over the blue line of Wisconsin as the Badgers stride back to pick it up. 19-17 remaining in the first period. With it is Mellenby. Mellenby angling it off the sideboards. It slides down in behind Generis. Knocked down there, picked up by Good. And cleared up ice now with the lead pass. With it is Randall going rink wide of the pass. Intercepted by McKenzie. Played to Ford at center ice. Here's Ford with the puck coming in over the blue line on the left side. Trying to move around the defenseman. Ford centered it toward the net. Cleared on the far wing. Down to the corner. The Badgers look to set it up. A backhander fired wide of the mark. Around over to Matt Walsh. Walsh with the drive. Generis knocked it down and was cleared. And set up as the Wildcats look to bring it out of their own zone. In the center ice area, flipped in over the blue line of the Badgers. Chased down by Anderson. And he played it around on the far side. Knocked down by Chizowski. Cleared from the net. Picked up by Ranheim. Last week's WCHA Player of the Week. Carries it in over the line. Ranheim circling in behind the net. Comes around to the far side. Ranheim with the puck. Cross ice over to Matt Walsh. Here's Walsh skating in. Trying to tip it to the net. And it was cleared on the far side. Over to pick it up is West. He turned and played it out over to center ice. Knocking it down, coming back in over the line. Matt Walsh with a drive. Deflected high, loose to Chipper on the far wing, down to the corner. Chipper is bumped, and the puck comes loose. Trying to dig it out is Geisness. Here's Geisness with the puck taken away down to the corner by West. Turned and played it out of the zone, and it comes all the way back in the Badger zone. Back goes Stanton around to the far side over to Buns. Buns stick handling with the puck for Wisconsin. Goes cross ice in the pass, picked up by the Badgers in the neutral zone, and it comes to Buns. Here's Buns stick handling with the puck, angling it off the board, played back in behind Generis. Knocking it down, 17:34 remaining in a scoreless first period. Northern Michigan looking to bring it out of their own zone. Played it to center ice, broken up by Stanton. Back in over the line, trying to go right wing to Gravelin. Chasing it down is Dave Randall behind the net. Pedaled it on the near side, taken away by Chipper. There's Chipper with the puck down in the corner on the left side. Chipper with it now. Chipper trying to come cross ice over to Reback. Reback on the boards on the right side. Played it to Gravelin. Gravelin trying to center it. Cleared by Emmons from in front of the net to center ice. Striding back is Tim Thomas over to set it up for Wisconsin. Cross ice to Buns. And played in over the blue line of the Badgers. Chased down to the corner on the far side by John Good. Angling it around the boards on the near wing. As breaking it up ice with it is Hartley. Here's Hartley coming in over the blue line. Trying to hit Poindexter. Whistle. And an offside will be called.
Someone once asked why hockey was such a great spectator sport. We just went 3 minutes and 12 seconds and there wasn't a whistle. It was just up and down, and the Badgers having the better of the play. Ranheim made a nice play, Paul, went all the way around the net, had Walsh open, and Matt tried to get a little too fine. As he walked in, he tried to shoot for the tip, and he probably could have cranked it because they kept backing up, giving him the zone.
And it's set up now, and with it is Saverin on the far side. Played it to the blue line of the Badgers, knocking it down to the neutral zone. Wisconsin played it back down to the corner of the left side. And Tony Saverin over to pick it up. Saverin on the far side, backhanding it up the far wing, knocked down by Thomas. Saverin along with Reback in the corner. It's picked up by Poindexter. Addy played it up ice. Here's Poindexter in the neutral zone to the blue line of the Badgers. And Poindexter with the puck on the right side of the wrist shot over the top of the Badger net. Loose along on the near wing down to the Badger zone. Lanigan with it. Around as he tried to go toward the net, deflected off the body of Poindexter. And it's set up by Wisconsin with 16:08 remaining in the first period. No score here from the Dane County Memorial Coliseum at Madison. Tim Thomas moving around Poindexter will bring it out of the zone. Here's Tim Thomas for the Badgers. And he finds it in Generis, who kicked it out to his left as he looks out from goal. Comes all the way back to Matt Walsh, blue line of the Badgers to Ryan. Ahead to Mellenby, one touching it on the pass to Thomas. Thomas trying to go to the blue line of the Wildcats, take it away. Thomas getting it back to Dave Maley. Maley knocking it down, carrying it toward the high slot. Off over to Mellenby. Mellenby turned, fired his shot, and Generis covered up and he made the save.
Mellenby just wheeled around from a bad angle and cranked it up there. And one thing Generis does, stays on his feet well, faces the initial shot. He's a 6-foot ball, and so he covers a lot of the net and did a nice job there, just cutting the angle, and then controlled the rebound very well. Mellenby, I think, looking for the rebound on the shot from the bad angle, but Generis did a nice job of simply covering up.
Maley, Ryan, and Mellenby out as a unit now for the Badgers. Face off to the left side of Dennis Generis. And the draw is loose now. Dave overskated the puck, picked up by Track. Here's Track moving it ahead, trying to go left wing over to Gray. Played down to the corner on the left side. Whistle. And play will be stopped at the blue line of the Badgers. Wisconsin coming into this hockey game 23-11 on the year. They are 21-9 in the WCHA. Third place with 42 points. Northern Michigan 20 victories, 12 losses, and 1 tie. And they are 18-12 in the league. No penalties called in the game yet so far. 15:24 remaining in the first period. And the score, 0-0. And the draw is set up now. It's center ice coming cross ice over to Olsen. Played it to the blue line of the Badgers. Intercepted by Matt Walsh. Went rink wide. Knocked down and intercepted by Morey. Morey with the puck. Played it to the blue line of the Badgers in the far wing. Matt Walsh got it to Dave Maley. On the lead over to Mellenby. Mellenby 1 against 4. Coming in over the line. Drop pass. Maley with a drive and the save by Generis. And the Mellenby got his stick up high. Some pushing in front, or pushing and shoving in front of the Wildcat bench. Or net, pardon me. And we'll have the face-off coming up, and I don't know if we're going to have any penalties called, Bill.
No, I don't think so. Everybody just sort of paired off, and maybe we'll have to see here. He might take Mellenby and somebody else. And he's going to. Thomas is going to take 2 to say, well, we won't put up with that. You guys go and take a little rest. So after the whistle, Mellenby going to the net, got bumped a little bit, and he decided to turn right around and bump back, and Morey and Mellenby will go in for high sticking. We'll give it to him.
You agree with a call like that early in the game, Bill? Does that kind of set the tempo for the rest of the way?
Well, I think it tells him that he isn't going to put up with that particular situation, and I think that's a good thing to do. If it's a penalty, call it a penalty.
So we have the face-off coming up now to the left side of Generis. Off the draw. Wiedela with a drive. Deflected back at the net. Badgers look to set it up. Back to the front of the right side over to Wiedela. Wiedela with a drive. Kicked out by Generis. Over to Thomas. Back over to Vargas. Shot! Kicked out by Generis. And the rebound comes loose on the near wing as the Wildcats look to clear it. Up ice, controlling it was Emmons. Emmons bumped at the blue line of the Badgers. Coming over to help out, it was West. And the Badgers regroup in their own zone. It comes over to Marty Wiedela. Angling it off the backboards, around over to Thomas. West and Emmons on the forecheck. And it's picked up by Ranheim. Trying to go left wing over to Ernie Vargas. Ernie with the puck down to the corner on the left side is bumped by Good. Ernie with the puck right to the slot to Ranheim, who was tied up. Nice job by John Good. And it's cleared by Emmons. Here's Emmons with the puck now, circling out of his own zone to center ice to the blue line of the Badgers. Coming in over the line, Emmons with the puck, trying to move it in. Shot! It's deflected wide of the net, comes back over to Randall at the point. On the left side, he rolled it around, back down to the corner on the far side of the Badgers zone. With it is Tim Thomas trying to hit Ranheim on the lead. And an icing will be called on the Wisconsin Badgers.
Ernie Vargas with the best opportunity. The Badgers won the face-off 4-on-4 in the zone. Wiedela had a shot from the point. And Thomas snuck in behind, got the rebound, hit Vargas dead center in front, and Ernie fired off the pass, and Gineris wasn't ready for it, Paul. Hit the side of his pad and trickled about 2 inches to the left of the goaltender and just wide of the net. But the Badgers have had the better of the offensive play. I don't think Dean Anderson officially has made a save.
And I can't remember one, and that doesn't mean he hasn't got one. Oh, it's played down to the corner of the left side. Broke it up. With it is Matt Walsh. Walsh going down. The puck comes loose to the point on the left side. There's a drive. Knocked down by Anderson. Cleared out of the slot. Lanigan fired it from the point. It was deflected in heavy traffic. And the Badgers kind of fortunate there, Bill.
And the puck went to the backside of Anderson. Unfortunately, the Badger defenseman stayed home and cleared it.
And it's moved back up ice, coming to the blue line of the Badgers. Matt Walsh threw a check and a shot taken by Chizowski, knocked down. Played in the corner on the left side. As Wisconsin down a man, so is Northern. There's a shot from the point, deflected, and it went in.
Shot in by the Badger defenseman.
Anderson deflected it to one of the Badger defensemen, and it goes into the net. And it's 1-0 Northern Michigan.
Shot from the left point.
I think McKenzie is the one.
Well, whoever took the shot from the left point is going to get the goal. The last player from Northern Michigan that shot the puck, or tipped the puck, however it may have been, or actually the puck deflected off the body of the Northern Michigan's player,
McKenzie.
And then Anderson made the save, and McKenzie went to clear it, turned around and shot it right into his own open net. Not what you'd call a good clearing pass, and they give the goal unassisted
to Chizowski. Chizowski gets the goal for him, his 19th of the year. Moved up ice, coming in over the blue line. And Gravelin with a shot wide. It's loose to the right wing court. Back in behind the net. Trying to pick it up now. Both teams back out at full strength. As Morey and Mellenby come out of the penalty box. Randall carried it to the Badger line, trying to go to the high slot, knocked down. Puck loose on the near wing. In the Badger zone, Wisconsin setting it up to bring it up ice. With it is Gravelin. Gravelin with it, lost it in the neutral zone, played back in over the blue line of Wisconsin. 1-0 the Wildcats out in front of the Badgers here on Chizowski's 19th goal of the season, put in by McKenzie of Wisconsin. And it's played back down to the corner on the left side, back in the Badger zone. And going back over to set it up now, Wisconsin with 12:26 remaining in the first period. And we have a 1-0 game, Northern out in front.
That's what you call a weird goal, and that's what happens when you don't have any other play and you throw it up on the net. Shot came from the left point, deflected off the shoulder, and then Anderson made a good skate save on the deflection, and McKenzie, with nobody on him, turned around to clear it to the corner, and he hit the net dead center. No one feels worse than he does.
And we'll have the face-off coming up now in the neutral zone. It's set up on the near boards by Olsen, going cross-ice in the pass to Morey. Tried to lead it ahead to Curtis. And it's knocked down. With it is Ackerbeck coming in over the line. Double break into the net. And a backhander, and Gineris with the save. And the rebound comes all the way back to the neutral zone. Set up by Marty Wiedela. We have 12:05 remaining in the first period. Tuttle with the puck, played it in over the blue line. Gineris puts it down. And it comes in the near wing to Grade. Grade getting help to try and bring it out of the zone. Badgers try to hold it in. And it's picked up, coming in over the line. With it is Grade. Taken away by Ackerbeck. Dropped it to one of his fellow defensemen. Moved up ice. As Tuttle tried to catch up with it, knocked down to the neutral zone. Thomas colliding with Wiedela. Driven down to the zone. Saved by Anderson. In the glove to Thomas. And it was centered toward the Badger net. Clear. As the Badgers will regroup. Moving it back up ice. Here's Wiedela. To the blue line of the Wildcats. Marty with a drive. Off the dasher. Around over to Brandheim. Down to the corner on the left side. Brandheim moving right out in front. Lost control of the puck as he tried to go to the net. And it was cleared now. Moving it up ice. Coming in over the blue line of the Badgers. It's played down to the corner on the far boards. Going back to the net over to set it up. Evans cruising in front of the net. Voss over to try and help out. Voss taking it away right out in front. Shot. Ooh, just tipped wide as it went off the stick of West. And the Badgers look a little unorganized here, Bill.
Having trouble clearing the zone and making careless passes.
And again, another careless pass. Held in by Emmons, cleared back to the net as Wisconsin regroups on the near board. And the puck loose down to the corner. With it is Voss. Voss trying to get some help. And whistle and play is going to be stopped in the Badger zone.
The best thing Wisconsin could do was force the whistle. And basically what's happening is they're firing in their defenseman. And the wing is getting caught high, Paul. The defenseman stepping inside that wing, and your wing cannot release the zone high when they're pitching like that. That's an adjustment that'll have to be made, because right there, Wisconsin simply could not get out.
And we'll have the face-off coming up now to the right side of Anderson as he looks out. There's the shot by Wright, deflected wide of the mark. Around to the far side goes Chisowski, and it's cleared by Ryan. Here's Ryan moving it up ice. Ryan taking off his skates, and it's going to be power play hockey for the Badgers. And a check was thrown by John Good on one of the Badgers, and it's going to be power play hockey for the Cardinal and White as the Wildcats send a man to the box.
That penalty occurred in neutral ice as Ryan pulled down from behind.
Ron Crowder, 2 minutes for hooking at 9:25.
And the hooking is going to be the call, and Wisconsin will go on the power play, where if they're going to really make the stretch run, Paul, this is one big area that they have to improve. The special team has been really the only consistent weakness of Wisconsin all season.
Well, there's only one team in the WCHA that has a worse percentage on the power play than the Badgers, and that's Michigan Tech. The Badgers are 7th in scoring power play goals. They have converted on 40 of 166 attempts on the year. That's for all games played. And moving it up ice now, controlling the puck. Northern leading in the game 1-0 with 10:18 remaining in the period. 1:41 remaining in a penalty time. Matt Walsh hit over the blue line, trying to go to Ranheim with a shot. Janaris knocked it down, and it covered up. And now we've got some pushing and shoving going on as the Badgers taking a poke at Janaris in front of the net to try and jar the puck loose. And action's going to be stopped with 10:09 remaining in the period.
Ranheim with that nice little change of pace again, Paul. Got in behind the defenseman and got the hard shot off. But unfortunately for Wisconsin, it was right at the goaltender. Same thing, the one drop pass to Maley. He had plenty of time and drilled the goaltender. So the prime opportunities that the Badgers have had, they really haven't challenged Janaris. They've shot it right into him.
So we'll have the face-off coming up to the right side of Dennis Janaris. He is 14-7-1 on the year with a goals against average of 3.96.
Bordeaux got that penalty for hooking, and it's only 3 penalties in the period, 2 on Northern and 1 on Wisconsin. But the Badgers appear to have a better offensive play, but really have been lax, I think, coming back in the defensive zone, not playing very aggressive in the defensive zone at all, and consequently have allowed Northern to have some maybe better scoring opportunities. Twice in behind Anderson, Paul, they had that tip man and just pushed it wide of the open net.
10:09 remaining in the period. Face-off coming up to the right side of Janaris. As the Wildcats down a man here, they look to clear it out of the zone, and they do. Off the stick of Jeff Good out of Warren, Michigan. And back goes Anderson in goal for the Badgers, whipping it around now. Wisconsin will set it up to bring it out of their own zone. With it is Tim Thomas looking it ahead on the lead pass. Skating in over the blue line. Over there is Dave Maley on the right side. Behind the net over to Mellenby. Mellenby with the puck down to the corner on the left side, and he's bumped along the boards, dug out by Maley. And he shuffled it to Ryan, back to the point over to Thomas. Thomas with the puck going off with the wing. Mellenby trying to move to the net. And Northern clears it to the neutral zone, where the Badgers set it up with Wiedela. Wiedela dumping it back in on Janaris, knocked it down, put it away in that glove, which he has on his right hand, and play will be stopped in the Wildcat zone.
51 seconds is what remains on Wisconsin's power play, and other than the one rush by Ranheim, they have not been able to set the power play up and move it around and get the key shots.
And the face-off coming up to the left side of Dennis Janaris out of Brentwood, New York.
The saves are going to be very one-sided, but not very many high percentage shots by Wisconsin, Paul, and Northern did a good job of clearing out the front.
And off the face-off, Mellenby got the deflected pass, and he fired it up over the plexiglass and out of play. So we'll have another face-off coming up.
Shows you how quick you can score. 3 seconds, puck's drop shot, deflected wide to the right.
You can score off the face-off, can't you? Remember that one?
I can remember a hockey player named Eves that did that.
And by the way, Mike will be the main speaker at the Blue Line Club's 23rd Annual UW Hockey Awards Banquet. We'll talk a little bit about that when we get an opportunity. And Marty Wiedela with the puck around over to Dave Maley, played on the near wing, and it's cleared out over to center ice. Tim Thomas going back, and Tim Thomas is taken down. And Thomas is tied up in the corner, and Wright took him off his skates. And now we've got a little pushing and shoving going on, and play is going to be stopped, and no whistle call there.
Boy, if that wasn't a penalty, I don't know what is. And Marty Wiedela, who's rather mild-mannered normally, is not very mild-mannered right now, and he's telling Thomas, you didn't call that, and there was no doubt about that it was a penalty. He grabbed him by the arm and said, let's dance, and spun him to the ice. And Thomas did not make the call, and Marty was pretty mad. You don't see him do that very often, but you know something? He was right.
The views and opinions expressed by Bill Howard are not that of the staff and the management.
Here we go, PB.
The Wisconsin Educational
What did you
Television
think that
Network,
was?
WHA and IBA.
What did you think that was?
A penalty.
Oh, okay.
Had the face-off, and it set up Marty Wheeler with the puck. 9 minutes remaining here in the first period. Northern leading it 1-0. And it's played down to the corner to the right side, back to the Badgers zone. Poindexter moved up ice now to the right side, controlling the puck, coming in over the line, over to Dave Maley. Maley with it, trying to go back to the point. Whistle and play is going to be stopped, and now we've got a penalty of elbowing.
This is called the makeup for the one that he missed. He just called elbowing ball after letting the one go. That was real apparent. He called one that was not so apparent, but it's going to be another power play for Wisconsin. And it'll be 5-on-3 for only 10 seconds. West goes in for elbowing. He's in the running with Thomas and Maley for being the most penalized in the league. He leads in penalties, I think 41 or 42, but he trails in minutes. See? So we got to keep track of that because that's a pretty important stat.
Chazowski has the only goal of the game, and actually it was McKenzie who put it in. No one, as Bill mentioned, feels worse about that than McKenzie, but they give it to Ron Chazowski, his 19th goal of the year. And it's a 1-0 game. And it's set up now by the Badgers. 5-on-4 situation now. And it's moved by Mellenby and over the blue line, over to Maley with a drive, knocked down and covered up by Generis.
Well, you're on the power play, and Maley gets the puck along the left side boards from a bad angle and cranks it. You got to be patient, take it in, set up where you want everybody, and work from there. You aren't going to score from there on the power play.
Badgers have won 15 games in a row at home. The record is 16 in a season, set in 72-73. So a little added incentive for the Cardinal and White here tonight. But right now they're down to 1-0 to Northern Michigan.
And they're trying to get the penalty time set correct, which they now have set correct. They had 43 seconds there at one time.
And it is 1:43 remaining in a penalty time to Joe West out of Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Face-off will be in the zone to the right of Generis, who really has a lot of saves, but none very difficult.
And the face-off and the draw set up Dave Maley with the puck on the left side. Maley down to the corner with it. Dave Maley with the puck in on the left wing. Maley tried to go to the slot to Ryan, who tried to tip it, and it was cleared. And moved back up ice, coming in over the blue line, trying to work to the net. A shot and a goal. It's 2-0 Northern Michigan as they get a short-handed goal. And it's scored by Bob Curtis, his 16th goal of the year. Shorthander number 9 for Northern Michigan. And the Wildcats lead it by 2.
Well, Curtis just got the pass on neutral ice, split the defenseman, and then pressure from the backside by Tim Thomas, and he ripped it in the upper corner. He really threaded the needle. Dean probably went down a little too soon. He started on his way down, and when he went down, Curtis went to the upper corner, but he made an excellent shot, Paul, in the upper corner. It's a short-handed goal.
And the face-off, and it's played back of the Badger net now. Anderson knocking it down. The Badgers go back to set it up. They still have 1 minute 17 seconds remaining at a man advantage. Moving it up ice. Here comes Matt Walsh in over the blue line. Walsh with the puck, and he played it down to the corner of the right side. Back over to Ernie Vargas. Ernie with it. Walked out from the corner. Fired a shot. Ford with a shot. Laid back of the net. Down to the corner on the left side. Ford with it. Back over to Ranheim. Ranheim working the puck on the wing. Trying to work it loose. Ranheim is tied up. Ford there to try and get some help. And a wrist shot fired by Stanton wide. Loose down to the corner to Ranheim. Randall played it away from Ranheim. Held in by Matt Walsh. Walsh cross ice of the pass over to Stanton with a drive and a goal. Heavy traffic in front of the net, and Stanton, I believe, will get the goal. His third of the year, his first power play. The Badgers' 41st of the season, and it's 2-1 Wildcats.
Well, no names to be happy. That's the other power play group. Really, Paul, has had good pressure on, and maybe has to be used a little more. Ernie Vargas right in front of the net may have redirected Stanton's shot, and if he didn't redirect it, he caused the goaltender Generis to not see the puck and go down. Stanton's blast may very well have been redirected by Ernie Vargas. We'll have to wait for the official call, but I think Ernie may have tipped that one in front of the net on Stanton's shot along the left side boards, but the Badgers get on the board with a power play goal.
And the face-off coming up at the neutral zone, played down to the corner on the far side, back over to Tim Thomas, over to Dave Maley. Held in by Emmons with a drive, and it's deflected down to the corner. Around to the far side of it to Dave Maley. Maley with it. Back of it to Ryan. Here's Ryan over the puck, moving it up ice, and the pass over to Marty Weedle, trying to get over the blue line. Weedle a drop pass to Mellenby, but an offside is going to be whistled.
Well, there's an interesting situation. It's 3-on-2, and Ryan gets pushed offside by the Northern Michigan player. And by the way, if in the judgment of the official that was intentional, he can waive the offside, and he didn't, and that cost the Badgers a 3-on-2. They give it to Stanton, but I still think Vargas redirected the puck.
When you see it on the replay, it does look like he did deflect it, so
we got to have a little disagreement. You know, one says one and one says the other.
Well, I don't know. Have to wait and see. And moving it up ice, controlling it is Olsen. Knocking it down to the neutral zone. With it is Mellenby coming in over the line to the right side. And Mellenby on the near wing with the puck, trying to get some help from Weedle. Both teams are back at full strength here. And we have a 2-1 game. Northern Michigan out in front of the Badgers with 6:44 remaining in the first period.
The Badgers break even on the power play. Give up one and get one, but that's an important one because you're down 2-0 and really in a little bit of shock trying to figure out how Northern's got 2 goals when they've had very little pressure at all. And then you come back and pop the power play goals. That's a big goal by either Stanton or Vargas, whoever you want to give it to.
And the face-off of the draw picked up on the far side by Good with it, playing it to the Badger line, intercepted by Stanton. Stanton head man to get to Chipper, left side of the pass over to Geisness. Gravelin cutting to the net. Gravelin was tied up. Geisness down to the corner on the left side, coming over to help out. Gravelin off over to Chipper. Chipper with the puck on the wing, or wristing a shot at the net. Janaris knocked it down. Played by Lanigan around to the far side. Off on the wing on the far boards. Northern trying to get it out of their own zone. Held in by Wisconsin. With it is Chipper down in the corner on the left. Chipper with the puck tried to send it to the net. Deflected in traffic. And moved up ice to the right wing. And the penalty's going to go against the Badgers. And that's going to be coming up at the 6-minute mark of the first period.
Against Steve Chipper for a slash. And back check on neutral ice. And that'll put Northern on the power play, where they're hitting at about 30% on the WCHA season, 39 for 131. So they've got a pretty good power play. And Steve Chipper will go in with exactly 14 minutes gone here in the first period. And the Badgers trailing 2-1.
Northern has converted on 43 of 147 power play attempts overall in the air, 29%. They have scored 50 goals in the first period, have allowed their opponents 38. The Badgers have scored 58 and allowed their opponents 50.
And that was a penalty, as we got to see the gray-bearded Mr. Santulli.
Oh, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I told him when I saw his new look here. Why would you grow a beard when it's getting near spring? You grow the beard when it's winter to stay warm.
I didn't say that, Jimmy. Bill Howard did. And coming in over the blue line with the puck is Mellenby down to the corner on the right side. Jimmy Santulli and the crew of WHA doing the technical part of our broadcast here. Emmons coming in over the line. Emmons with the puck on the far side. Emmons with the puck. He's the guy with 40 goals in the year. Cross ice, it comes to Olsen. Olsen with it down along on the near wing. It comes to Emmons. Tried to push it. Shot tipped in. Emmons fired it toward the net. It was tipped in out front. As Voss was there, one of those, and Northern comes back, and they take a 3-1 lead in the game.
I don't know how that one went in either. Just sort of threw it up toward the net, and the next thing you know, it bounces off somebody and goes in, and everything they're tossing up is going in. As that shot came from the left side boards, hit a Badgers stick, and went between the legs of Dean Anderson. Deflected by a Wisconsin player, changed the direction of the puck.
We're going to get a look at it for the second time in the replay here. They're giving it to Emmons, who would be the last one to touch the puck, other than the Badgers.
That's right.
So they have 2 goals off Badgers here. As Ernie Vargas holding it in down to the corner of the near side. With the puck, Ernie Vargas over to try and pick it up. And it comes loose. Pat Ford on the near wing. Down trying to get some help. Dug out by Ernie Vargas. Ernie with a drive. That's blocked off the body of Good. Knocked down in the corner of the near side. Randheim trying to go back to the point. And it's broken up with it as Poindexter moving it up ice along with Hartley at the blue line of the Badgers. Jacobson is on as a line mate as well. Wisconsin turning it around. Back in over the line. Puck comes loose at the point of the right side. It's picked up by Poindexter. Turned and he angled it all the way back to the Wisconsin blue line. There is McKenzie. McKenzie stick hand over the puck now, going cross ice to the far wing. And it rolls down to the corner as the Badgers go back. Tavern is there to try and pick it up. Dug out by Randheim. Ranheim down to the corner of the near boards, taken away by Lanigan. Lanigan with the puck is tied up by Ernie Vargas down to the corner of the left wing. Ernie trying to work it loose. Kozowski is there. Comes to Poindexter, who turns and leads it up ice in the far boards, driving it down to the corner on the near wing in the Wisconsin zone with 4:18 to remaining in the period. Kozowski checking Ranheim. Ranheim tossed it up for shot. Blocked by Anderson. It was fired by Kozowski, turned away. And coming back in over the line, here's Ranheim with a shot. Knocked down Ryan with a follow. And it went in! As Ranheim fired the shot, Generis made the initial save, but it snuck loose. And Ryan casually tapped in his 22nd goal of the year, and it's a 3-2 game.
Well, we predicted a rather offensive game, and that's exactly what we're getting. Ranheim got the initial shot. Ryan alertly followed the shot, really just sort of tried to stuff it under the goaltender, and was fortunate that it got underneath the arm and glove of Generis and slid in behind the goaltender, just barely getting under the arm of Generis and barely across the line. But a good heads-up play by Tommy Ryan, and the Badgers get back in it once again.
And Tommy Ryan has matched his number in goals this year with 22 now. And the Badgers pop it up. There's his shot right out in front. Shot and a goal on the follow by Kozowski. Bordur and Kozowski in front of the net, and you talk about countering. Kozowski is 20th goal of the year, second of the period, and it's 4-2.
And again, a wild scramble in front, and Dean Anderson over-moving a little bit, Paul, and then get blocked out and by someone in front of his own net as he got turned sideways, made the save sideways, but then out of position on the rebound attempt. And Northern Michigan, every time they've gotten near the net, Paul, have been able to wrap the puck in past the Badger defenseman and goaltender. And they've come right back, no quicker than the Badgers scored. They come back in exactly 11 seconds and get on the board, with Kozowski scoring the goal.
And it's set up now. It played back in over the blue line of the Badgers, and going back of the net over to set it up. Coming around on the near side comes Randall. Randall with the puck, and it comes ahead. Here's a break, moving it in, all alone, shot and a goal! It's West getting the goal, his 18th of the year, and it's 5-2 Northern Michigan.
Solo went in all alone and drilled it past Dean Anderson. And boy, I'll tell you, they coming at us in a hurry, Paul, and this is exactly what happened in Marquette, Michigan. And that's 2 goals in all of 19 seconds.
5-2 Northern.
Whoa, it was 3-2 there a few minutes ago. We blinked our eyes twice when the puck was in the net, and Wisconsin's in trouble.
And we have 3 minutes and 32 seconds remaining. Don't take your eyes off the ice here, people, because we may have more goals. And you talk about a shootout. That's what they didn't want to happen. And the Badgers here. Well, Bill, you've got a 7-5 score. I hope you're right on one end.
We need some goals.
And it comes around to the near side. The Badgers look to hold it in. With it is Mellenby. Mellenby with the puck, getting help from Matt Welch with a drive. It's deflected up over the glass and out of play.
Hard to figure this one out, I'll tell you that. And the Badgers are down 5-2 with 3:07 to go. And I can hardly keep up with right, and every time I look down the right, puck goes in the net, and it's not going in the right net.
Wisconsin came back and scored their second.
Can you keep up with everything, PB?
No, as a matter of fact, I'm behind right now. But I'll wait until the end of the period to catch up.
I don't think I'm going to have to look this one up. I think this is the most goals the Badgers have allowed in one period this season.
It is 5-2 Northern Michigan here in the first period. And the face-off of the draw comes loose on the near boards, and it's played up ice and controlled in the neutral zone and played back in over the blue line. Broke it up there by Generis, played it behind the net. Letting it around to the far side. It goes to Sabourin. Sabourin with the puck off on the wing. Knocked down to the corner, and it's going to be tied up. Dave Maley dug it loose. Maley with the puck, working back to the net. Maley with it now, trying to center it. Came back out of the zone of the Badgers, go back to regroup. And coming up ice now, controlling it in the neutral zone. In over the line, here comes Mellenby with a drive. Oh, and it just went wide of the mark. As it was deflected in traffic out front, as Mellenby was tied up. And it's knocked down now at center ice, coming back the other way, 2:24 remaining. And over the line, it's Ryan trying to go left side. Broken up just outside the blue line of the Wildcats, and the puck loose in the neutral zone. Back over to Ernie Vargas, sliding across ice. And Wisconsin regroups in the far boards over to Ranheim. We have 2:07 remaining in the first period. Cross ice in the near wing to Olsen. Olsen going back cross ice to the far boards. And with it is Morey. Here's Morey with the puck now, playing it down to the left wing corner of the Badgers zone. Rolls down in on the far side, back over to Ernie Vargas as the Badgers break it out of their own zone. Moving it up ice, here comes Ranheim. There's Ranheim with the puck, lost it, held in by McKenzie with a shot, and it's deflected off Olsen, and on Jaderis he covered up, and he made the save. We'll take a break. 5-2 Wisconsin with 1:40 remaining in the period. And it's time once again to cast your vote for WHA 7th Man Award. A handsome trophy is given annually to the Badger player who exemplifies Wisconsin trademarks of team spirit, aggressive play, and good sportsmanship. Voted on by you, the Badger fans. Send your ballot to 7th Man Award in care of WHA, 821 University Avenue in Madison. And it's set up along on the near wing now. Back out at center ice. We have 1 minute 30 seconds remaining here in the first period. It is 5-2. Northern Michigan out in front of the Badgers. Chased down by Chizowski, trying to get some help as he moves to the net. And the puck comes loose down to the corner of the far side. And it was held in. With it is Bordur. Bordur around over to right. Right with it. Tried to center it to the net. Cleared by the Badgers. Ernie Vargas. On the far wing, it goes back over to Good. Good from the point with a shot. Knocked down. Deflected to right down to the corner of the far side. And it comes around in the near boards. We have 1 minute remaining in the period. It is 5-2. With it is Randall. Played it in on Anderson. Steered down to the corner of the near wing. Back to the point. Held in. Shot fired there. Covering up is Anderson after Bordur fired it from the point.
And the Badgers take a penalty. Too much pressure, too long, and Badgers going to get called for the interference call. It's under a minute to play in the first period and trailing 5-2. And we were very concerned when we talked about in the pregame, Paul, you and I, about the explosiveness and offensive thrusts that can come from Northern Michigan, and we have seen it here in the first period. They haven't had a lot of pressure, but every time they throw it up to the net, the puck's been going in.
Are you stunned?
Well, I'm a little stunned. Yeah, you might say that. They've got some weird goals, and
but they count, right?
They sure do.
And we'll have a face-off coming up to the right side of the draw. Comes to Olsen at the point. Olsen with it around to Emmons. Emmons with the puck, working on the left point. Back over. Olsen with a drive. That's knocked down. Emmons with a drive and a goal. As Emmons gets his 41st goal of the year, and it's 6-2. Northern Michigan.
Fired it up, got deflected into the upper corner, and that one comes at the 19:23 mark. And about the last thing you wanted to have happen just happened. They're 2 for 2 on the power play. And the shot from the left circle cranked it up. Dean Anderson on the way down again. And I guess if I've got one comment about it, is that Dean has been down too many times, Paul, and some of the goals aren't his fault, but in the same respect, he has not made a big save.
6-2. My goodness.
We're in big trouble. And by that, I mean Wisconsin, not you and I.
Played back down to the corner with the left side. Back over to Tim Thomas with 30 seconds remaining in the period. And the Badgers go back in their own net. Boy, they're playing careless in their own zone here in the period.
They're in a state of shock, along with a few other people.
And here's Dave Maley moving in over the line. Shot. Jaderis kicked it out. It goes around over to Randall with the puck down in the corner. 14 seconds remaining here in the period. Badgers look to set it up. Maley with a drive. That is deflected now. Off of the far side over to Track. Track with the puck now. Off of the far wing. And it's played up ice, controlling it. The Badgers try to hold the zone. And we come to the end of the first period of play. After 20 minutes of action, it is the Wildcats of Northern Michigan University leading the Badgers 6-2.
College-educated people are not a luxury in a society like we have in the United States. They're a necessity.
The state college system is the only way they would enable me to go on to school.
If it weren't for public support of higher education, a lot of us wouldn't be here.
Without the state college, I wouldn't be able to come back.
Taxpayers should invest in the future.
Your tax dollars for state colleges and universities are just a small investment in the future of your children, your community, your state, and your nation.
WNMU TV, Channel 13, Marquette. Public television from Northern Michigan University.
Local acquisition of Wildcat hockey was made possible by a grant from the Northern Michigan University Hockey Blue Line Club.
And we are back here at the Dane County Memorial Coliseum, where after 20 minutes of play, it's a 6-2 game. Northern Michigan out in front of the Wisconsin Badgers, and I guess stunned is the best word to describe as far as Wisconsin fans are concerned what has happened here, but give the credit to the Wildcats of Northern Michigan as they have jumped out to the big lead. And 6:43 was the first goal of the game. It was Chizowski, his 20th goal of the year. That was an unassisted effort. Then it went off one of the Badgers. 2-0, and scoring the goal was Bob Curtis. For him, his 16th of the year, as Grade and Morey got assists in that goal. Then the Badgers cut that margin to 2-1 at 12:33. We've had several changes in goals, but we believe we're right now. Stanton, number 3 of the year, Matt Walsh with the assist in that goal. Then it was 3-1 Northern at 14:29 of the period, and it was scored by Gary Emmons, his 41st of the year, with the assist going on the goal to Morey and Olson for Morey, his 2nd of the night. At 15:58 of the period, the Badgers made it 3-2 Northern, as Ryan got the goal, matching his number at 22 in goals, Maley with the assist. At 16:09, it was Wright getting the goal. For Wright, it was his 10th of the year. That is a change. Wright getting his 10th goal of the year, and a couple of assists were given on that particular goal, one of which went to Chizowski and the other one going to Bordur. Then it was 5-2, Wisconsin on the short end, as West got his 18th goal of the year, with the assist going on that particular goal to Emmons and to Randolph. And then it was Emmons tying the school record, his 42nd goal of the year. Steve Bozick had 42 back in 1980. And Emmons now is 42 on the year. Morey with his 3rd assist of the night. Olson with his 2nd of the night and his 21st of the year. 6-2, Bill Howard, after 20 minutes of play.
I'm trying to get all these nice changes here, but not wanting to use the timeout and change goaltenders between periods. And warmed up Mr. Richter in the runway. Again, down 6-2, may need that timeout. It's one of those feelings still, Paul, when you're down 6-2 that you feel you can still win the game. They had Minnesota down like something like 7-1 or 2 in their own rink and lost at 10-9. So you still have the feeling, especially when you look at all the shots attempted and so on in that period, that you have a chance to win the hockey game. But you must play with much more intensity in the defensive zone.
And we mentioned that Emmons now has 42 goals in the year, tying the record set by Bozick, and Bozick's now with the Calgary Flames. And we're ready to go here with 19:45 remaining in the second period. 6-2 Wildcats.
Boy, is that going to be a shocker around the league, right? And
I'll bet you when that score is announced where Denver is. Dean Anderson, how's his frame of mind?
I talked to him. It was team defense that failed, and he did not have a great period, but they weren't all his fault. But Northern comes right out and helps us out by taking a penalty here in the first 17 seconds of the period. Grade goes in for the high stick, and you analyze the goals, Paul. They get 2 power plays. They get a short-hander. They get a breakaway. They get one that's shot in by our own player, one off your own stick. It certainly isn't all the goaltender's fault. And I just explained to them there are nights like that. And Richter had one in North Dakota. Now Richter's got to come in and do the job.
And it's played back of Canaris now. Played around the boards on the near side. Turning, trying to pick it up, Marty Wiedela. Wiedela down to the corner, going back of the net, around over to pick it up, and it's cleared out of the zone. 19:25 remaining in the second period. The score is 6-2 as the Badgers go back to regroup. It's Marty Wiedela with the puck over to Dave Maley. Maley working it up ice. Maley cutting it over the line, trying to go to Ryan. Back over to Mellenby. Mellenby down on the wing on the near side. Mellenby trying to work it loose. Went to Wiedela, and it knocked over his stick, and it comes out of the zone. Things have got to improve quickly, Bill, for the Badgers. It just seems to be one of those nights here. Get over the line, Maley with it. The passing is not sharp. It's hopping over the sticks. No intensity on the part of Wisconsin there, and now they have a power play and really have not come up with a great opportunity here so far. 1:02 remaining in a man advantage for the Badgers. Moved up ice with it is Mellenby. Mellenby back to Wiedela. That's broken up by Wright. Taken back away by Mellenby. Cross ice now. Thomas with it to center ice. Maley overskated. They look like they're in another
food right now. Can you believe that?
Yeah, they are. They look like they're in another world, so to speak. 18:24 remaining here in the second period, and we have 37 seconds remaining at a man advantage as the Badgers go back over to set it up. And they turn and they play at the center ice. With it is Ernie Vargas. There's Ernie cutting it over the line, trying to go to Ranheim over the fat forward. Back behind the cage. Puck comes loose in the near wing as Northern looking, trying to bring it out of the zone. Thomas to Vargas to Ford, and they got a man in front of the net. That was Ranheim, couldn't get him the puck. It's loose down in the corner, back over to Vargas, and we have 8 seconds remaining. There's a drive, knocked down and covered up by Generic.
Well, you analyze the first period. Everything possible that could have happened to you happened to you. On the other hand, the Generis with 18 saves, Anderson with 10. You did have some offensive pressure, not good scoring opportunities. A lot of shots in close, but again, he didn't have to make the spectacular save. But you had no effort and no intensity by 6 people in the defensive zone, and that's where the blame falls on all 6 of the players in the defensive zone.
17 minutes and 49 seconds remaining here in the second period. 2 goals tonight for the Badgers. Stanton is third of the year, and Ryan is 22nd. And the puck is loose on the far boards now. Skating, trying to pick it up on in behind the cage of the Wildcats. Both teams back at full strength now as Gray comes out of the penalty box, carried in over the blue line by Good. Good with the puck down to the corner, moved it across the slot, loose on the wing. Gray over to try and pick it up. The Badgers regroup behind their own net. Headmanned up ice now. With it is Pat Ford in the lead, cutting it over the line. With it is Ranheim. Ranheim cutting to the net, right out into the lost control of the puck. On the far side, it's set up and cleared by Flanagan in over the line, right side to West. West with it, trying to go back to Emmons. Emmons bumped along the near boards. Badgers look to bring it out of the zone. McKenzie to Vargas. Vargas cutting it over the line, breaking in off the wing with a drive, but it's kicked out by Generis. Rebound picked up by Voss. Voss went to Emmons in front of the Badger bench. Wisconsin carrying it in over the blue line of the Wildcats. Loose to Gravelin. Gravelin flipped it behind the cage as it was deflected. On the near wing, it's played up ice now, rink wide. Emmons trying to chase it down. And Richter steers it up over the plexiglass and out of play on the far side.
Well, it's much like the first period where the Badgers came out, had most of the shots and most of the pressure and very little in their end. And then as we talked about, Paul, defense starts with all people, forwards coming back, covering in front, defense and goaltender. And you don't play hard in that zone, you're going to end up having some things happen like happened to the Badgers. If you think about it, every conceivable thing happened. Cleared it into our own net, deflected off of our own stick, hit the goaltender and rolled in. I mean, you think about all the goals they had, everything went their way.
However, they count and they're out in front.
No, they don't count. The game's going to start over.
6-2. The Wildcats out in front of the Badgers. And give them credit at this point, Bill.
How can you count that first period?
And the puck comes loose down to the corner on the near side of it to try and pick it up. Flipped around the boards. And it's Buns with it at the point of the right side of the wrist shot. And it comes loose on the near boards. Looking, trying to pick it up is Geisness, Chipper, and Gravelin out as a unit. Controlled by Wright. Played it in over the blue line of the Badgers. And Wisconsin back over to set it up, moving it up ice, controlling it now. With it is Geisness coming in over the line. Geisness with the puck at a drive, and that goes up over the glass and out of play.
Well, if it stays 6-2 too much longer, I think you're going to have to go with your 3 lines and your 4 best defensemen, Paul. You're just going to have to throw everything out there and just let those 3 lines and 4D go and play your best defensive players and your best offensive players and try to win the hockey game. I think you sometimes get better flow when you use 3 lines too, and you're down 6-2. If you don't get some flow pretty soon, you're not going to need any flow.
And the face-off of the draw back in the Wildcat zone, played to center ice, broken up by Thomas. Thomas angling it down, back in behind. It was cut off by Generis. Played to the near wing. Poindexter with the puck, ran into his own man, but it's cleared. Back down to the Badger zone as Wiedela goes back over to set it up. 15:38 remaining. Marty Wiedela with the puck around to Thomas, still back in the Badger zone. Thomas with it, going across ice in the pass to Wiedela. Looking ahead, the Badgers have it coming in over the line of the left side is Reback. Reback with it, and it's tipped wide of the net by Ackervik. Back of the cage of the Wildcats. Played on the far side by Lanigan. Flanagan tried to bring it out, held in by the Badgers. The Badgers tipped in on Chinaris, and he made the save.
And there's a good indication of one thing Northern Michigan has done well throughout the game. They've allowed Wisconsin a lot of shots, Paul, but they've certainly been tough in front of their goaltender, and there have been very few rebounds and very few good open shots, always under pressure. And we have some scores that will become of interest, obviously, with this one going the way it's going. Minnesota and Duluth 1-1 in the first. Denver 6-3 over Tech in the second. They're Wilson. North Dakota hammering CC 3-0 in the first. So the Badgers have got some heavy work to do here in the next 15 minutes plus 20 of the third period.
Did you hear a Duluth score, Bill? Did you just give that? If you did, I missed it.
Yeah, 1-1.
And it's played back down in behind the cage now, around to the near side, going over is good, trying to pick it up. It's held in by Ryan, tipped wide, goes around to the far boards, over to Voss. Voss with it, and the puck comes loose now, stopped with it. Dave Maley turned, fired it down to the corner of the left side. 14:54 remaining, played back of the net around to the far side now. And moved up ice, it's the Badgers striding back to their own zone. Over to pick it up comes McKenzie. McKenzie with the puck now, circling back on the far wing over to Mellenby. Mellenby with it, and it's set up now, controlling it. And with it is Dave Maley. Maley with the puck, playing it in over the blue line. And it rolls down to the corner of the far boards. Northern going back over to set it up, played back of the net. Puck comes loose in the near wing. With it is Dave Maley down to the corner. Maley over to Mellenby, trying to center it. It comes out of the zone. Bill, is an objective or a goal maybe in this period to knock 2 of that margin off?
Don't try to get it all back to one time, because you're not going to do it. But if you can get back within a couple goals, then you can still win the hockey game.
And coming back the other way, in over the line of the far side, over to Graves with a left-handed shot. It went wide. Puck comes loose, and it comes to McKenzie, out to Dave Maley. And it rolls down in on Jadaris, gives it to Olsen. Olsen with the puck, working the near boards, head Madigan to the neutral zone. Played by Curtis, in over the blue line of the Badgers, taken away by Buns. Went to Track trying to move toward the net. Knocked down in heavy traffic, and Richter whipping it up over the glass and out of play.
Well, he's pretty good at that, backhand forehand. He figured it was time for a line change and tried to deflect it off the glass, but just couldn't quite do it. Well, I'll tell you, when that score is announced in Houghton, Michigan, and Williams Arena, you're going to oohs, you're going to hear. And it was hard to believe the way the puck went in, wasn't it?
Yes, there were some unusual goals, but as we have mentioned several times, the Badgers have scored some unusual goals this season, and
not that many in a period, though.
And it's Stanton working back of the net over to set it up now. The Badgers looking to bring it out of their own zone. And with it is Ford. Ford with a puck, moving it up ice to Ernie Vargas. Ernie in over the line. Ernie with the puck, trying to go back towards the slot. Cleared by Crack out of the zone. And it comes all the way back to the Badger blue line. And coming over to pick it up is Stanton. Stanton stick handling with the puck. Here's Stanton driving it around the boards, and it rolls down in the corner on the far side over to Ford and Ranheim in the corner. Olsen is pinned against the boards, and Whistleland will have a face-off coming up. 13-10 remaining in the second period. We have a 6-2 score. Northern Michigan out in front of the Badgers. All of the scoring in the first period of play. 2-0 Northern, then 2-1, then 3-1, then 3-2 Northern. And then they scored 3 more goals from the 16:09 mark of the period through 19:23. Emmons has 2 tonight, his 41st and 42nd of the year. Face off, and the draw is loose to the boards on the near side. Stick hand over the puck and trying to move it ahead. Tim Thomas with it, played it back in over the line. And back over to Marty Wiedela. Wiedela with it, back of the net on the far side, trying to move it out in front of the net, back to the point on the left side. And a drive is taken from the point. Flanagan with it, and Flanagan setting it up in the neutral zone. Played it ahead on the near side, and coming over to try and pick it up. Chasing it down goes Marty Wiedela, back of the net. Wiedela around to the far side now, controlling it, and moving it up ice now with the puck in the neutral zone. Badgers look to set it up. And coming over to set it up now with it is Gravelin. Gravelin with the puck back on the near side. Badgers have it coming in over the line. And with it, puck comes on the wing as Geisnes trying to go to the net. Geisnes tied up, pardon me. And it goes to Thomas, who played it down to the corner of the left. Back over to Gravelin. Played back of the cage, around over to pick it up now. Northern looking to break it out of the zone. And whistle, and play is going to be stopped at the blue line of Northern Michigan.
And we're still down 6-2 with 12:13 to go. And the Badgers not being able to get, again, the high percentage shot, Paul. They're getting the puck down there. They're getting some shots, but they aren't great shots. They aren't the ones that you're going to score on against a good goaltender. And You've got to get some better flow and intensity and some enthusiasm and some heavy pressure out there rather than just 1 or 2 shots and they clear the zone.
And the face-off, and a shot is taken, blocked and knocked down. It goes around over to Randall with it, trying to work it up ice. And it comes to Poindexter on the right side. And it's dumped down back in behind the Badger cage. Richter with it around the Reback on the near boards. Back over to Ackervik, back of the cage. The Badgers look to try and pick it up. Ackervik and Reback on the near boards. And with it is Reback heading at it to center ice, trying to go to Ackervik. Tuttle trying to chase it down. Reback and Ackervik on the left wing, down to the northern zone, trying to set something up. We have 11:35 remaining here in the second period, and play is stopped along the boards in the Wildcat zone.
And all of a sudden, Northern Michigan just sort of laying back again, Paul, and playing good, hard defensive hockey. And what they did in the first period really wasn't a surprise. They did the same kind of thing, let you have some shots, and then just fired people out and threw it out there and twice split the Badger defenseman. And if you analyze it, they scored just about every conceivable way you can. 4-on-4, shorthanded goal, 2 power play goals, 5-on-5 goal. They just scored every way they could.
And it's set up now, controlling the puck. Emmons with it in the neutral zone. Emmons with it, carried it to the blue line and over the line. Emmons with it down to the corner of the right side, trying to go to the net, and it's scooped up by Richter, and he stops the play.
Northern hasn't had any good shots or any pressure this period, but they've knocked almost 9 minutes off the clock, and they still got a 4-goal lead. And if you don't think you got to start worrying about time, then you're foolish when you're down by 4 goals.
Emmons has had an outstanding season. He scored 6 goals in 1 game against Minnesota earlier in the year. Face off, but Emmons tried and did manage to get the draw. Back to Morey at the point, broke it up. And the Badgers look to move it up ice in the lead to Ryan, knocked down in the neutral zone. And coming over to set it up now as Northern backs it up in their own zone. Coming cross ice over to Morey. Morey with it, bringing it to center ice. Morey with the puck, and he played it to the blue line, knocked down there, intercepted, back the other way goes Dave Maley. Maley with the drive, and the save is made, and now we've got Maley and Olsen. And Maley has got a headlock on Olsen, and we'll take a break. This is Badger Hockey on the Wisconsin Educational Television Network. And it's time once again to cast your vote for WHA TV 7th Man Award. A handsome trophy is given annually to the Badger player who typifies Wisconsin trademarks of team spirit, aggressive play, and good sportsmanship. Send your ballot to the 7th Man Award in care of WHA, 821 University Avenue in Madison, 53706. And WHA would like to hear from you.
Yeah, I'm trying to be serious here, and I got Mo and Joe back here writing me these great funny notes here. We won't even talk about it. Good-humored Lukey back there, playing coach, telling us how everything should be.
I see. Okay. By the smile on your face, I won't ask you what he wrote.
No, I don't think we'll repeat those kind of things.
10 minutes, 49 seconds. You're betting at the second period. It's 6-2, Northern Michigan out in front. And it's moved up ice by Curtis. Curtis with the puck trying to go to Grade. Grade driving it down to the Badger zone. It's cut off by Richter, who gives it to Stanton. Stanton on the near side now. And it's played up ice, controlling it. Here comes Ford in over the blue line on the left side. Ford with the drive, high and wide. And it's played by Grade to center ice, broken up by Ranheim. Ranheim at the Badger line on the far side. Ranheim with the puck. Ranheim now carries it in over the line. Ranheim with the drive. Janaris very casually made the save.
Well, that shot from well outside the top of the circle. Ranheim, good hard effort, but Janaris just stood there, cut the angle down, and he's blocked a lot of shots directly at him, Paul, and hung on and covered up well. And when he hasn't had to do that, there's been good help in front of the net. And
3 goals, 3 assists for Player of the Week honors. The effort by Paul Ranheim.
Vastly improved player over last season.
Well, he's, let's see, 31 points into the season. Pretty impressive in his sophomore year, coming out of Edina, Minnesota. And it's set up now. The Badgers hold the zone with it as Thomas, but that should and indeed is going to cause a stoppage of play on the offside.
Well, not a lot of great things to say thus far in the hockey game tonight,
No, there isn't,
TB.
Bill. This is what you call struggling here a bit.
You mean we're struggling too?
Yeah, I think so. And we'll have the face-off at the blue line. Let's see if we can overcome it and the team as well. Back over to Morey. Around to the far side over to Olsen. Bill, you just get the feeling if they could get a couple, you know, get it rolling. but they're down by 4 right now. And moving it up ice, controlling it on the near side, and with it a shipper, whistle and play will be stopped.
And I think it was an offside. It wasn't, and now they'll talk about it and go over again. And I got my popcorn anyway tonight. You know, they've been neglecting me all year, and I finally got some.
Where's mine?
You've been neglected even longer than I have.
Okay. Face-off coming up just outside the blow line now with 9:51 remaining in the second period.
And that's what it was. It wasn't an offside that they called an offside, so it's an official error, so there's a face-off and neutral ice. We've talked about that one a few times this season. Usually isn't called.
And the puck is set up with the Badger blue line. Thomas with it. Thomas with it. Played it to the blue line of the Wildcats. Chipper tried to pick it up. And with it is Chizowski on the lead to right. Taken away by Thomas. Played down to the corner of the left. Trying to pick it up is Geisnes. And the puck comes loose. And there's a penalty. And it's going against the Wildcats as the Badgers control it back to the net now. They try to maintain control of the puck and get that extra attacker out. The play is going to be stopped, and it'll be power play hockey for Wisconsin.
Well, if you're ever going to score one and get back in it, sounds like a pretty good time to do it.
10:35, the time of the penalty.
And it gives Wisconsin a chance to cut that lead from 4 down to 3. This is a fairly important time, I think, in this period, Paul, in which you need to convert a goal, get a little momentum, get something going here. Otherwise, Northern's just going to stay back there and let you shoot outside the top of the circle all night long, and you aren't going to lose the game if you let that happen. Even the crowd getting a little fired up here.
Well, they're trying their best to get the Badgers to know they're behind them here. And we'll have the face-off coming up in a 6-2 game. Northern out in front of Wisconsin. Power play hockey for the Badgers. And it's played back of the net now. Melody over with Maley to try and pick it up to Ryan. Ryan with the puck on the near side. Ryan trying to go to the net. Deflected around over to Dave Maley. Maley goes down to the far boards, and a whistle and play will be stopped.
Again, Northern Michigan, the second best in the league in killing penalties, Paul, and that they've allowed less than 20%. Dave Maley got knocked down and fell on the puck, and Larry Thomas says that means the face-off's outside of the zone because you fell on the puck. And that should be the least of our concerns right now.
So we'll have the face-off coming up just outside the blue line with 9:09 remaining in the second period.
Now Northern's saying, oh, how about a penalty for delaying? And they want a little more than just a face-off outside the zone. Well, got a minute 44. Need a power play goal here.
And it's set up by the Wildcats on the near boards around over to Good. Good playing it down to the corner. Went back in behind Richter, cutting it off on the near side. It comes over to Marty Wiedela. To Dave Maley, taken away, shot, knocked down by Richter. Great overskated the puck, and the Badgers pick it up. And with it is Dave Maley, flipping it down to the corner for the right side. 1:25 remaining here on the man advantage situation for the Badgers. And the puck pinned along the boards. The Badgers try to free it. And Randall took the man down. Mellenby over to try and pick it up. And it's cleared out of the zone. Badger fans thought there should have been a penalty call there as well. And Thomas fell down, and Richter steered it, trying to go over to pick it up.
Get the other group out. This group is struggling. How's that for an observation?
And it comes up ice on the near side now. The Badgers with Marty Wiedela tried to go to Ryan, and we have 52 seconds remaining, and the Badgers ice the puck.
Well, that might not have been a bad thing because you can change groups and get the other one out, and I'm not so sure, at least tonight, the other group might not be better than the group that just left the ice. Down to 8:16, and all Northern's done is come out with a 6-2 lead and said we'll play very conservative hockey, and for them that's something. But they've done that. If you take a look at the number of chances they've had to score, they're just staying back and laying back and saying, come on at us, we're fine with everybody back, and it's tough to score them.
And it's set up by Stanton, Matt Walsh, Pat Ford, Ernie Vargas out of the ice. And who am I missing, Howie? And moved up ice, coming in over the blue line. Matt Walsh with it. Walsh with the puck over to Ranheim, and he drove it up over the glass and out of play.
Did you get Ranheim and Ford?
That's the guy who was missing. Was Ranheim who fired that shot. 8 minutes remaining of the second period. 35 seconds remaining on the power play situation. And a 6-2 score, Northern out in front. Badger fans, and yours truly, may be surprised by this score, and that is not meant in disrespect to Northern Michigan, but I'm surprised, I really am, Bill, with all the Badgers had on the line here, and with the 15-game winning streak at home, and the chance to finish first or second in the WCHA, you wouldn't expect expect them to be struggling like they are here tonight.
And you wouldn't come out of a period down 6-2 no matter how bad things are going. It's just one of those things in sports that you're probably never going to figure out.
And the puck is played back of the net over to Pat Ford, and there's his shot knocked down by Generis as he stoned Ranheim. And it's set up down to the corner of the near side. It goes behind the net, picked up by Pat Ford. Ford with a puck, and there's a backhander. Generis knocked it down. Back over to Ranheim to Ford with a shot over the top of the net. Ernie Vargas working behind the net. This power play is making things happen here.
They had 3 great chances.
And that's more than the other group had in their entire time on the ice.
There's about 2 weeks.
With a shot, and we have 7:29 remaining in the second period. And moving it up ice, controlling it now, coming in over the blue line with it is Ranheim. Cross ice tried to go to Pat Ford. The Badgers do not convert on the power play opportunity, and Northern's at full strength. And Northern setting it up now in the neutral zone. Played back down in the corner on the right side, and Stanton goes back over to set it up. Stanton around over to Ranheim. Ranheim with the puck now will work it up by 6-2 the score. Ranheim driving it in on Generis, knocked it down. Lanigan with the puck, and Lanigan got some help, moved out of the zone. Emmons in over the line. Emmons tried to go to Voss. That's cleared by Wisconsin. And moved up ice, coming back the other way. In over the line on the left wing with it is Chipper down to the corner to Geisness and Chipper trying to work it loose. It's Chipper behind the net, trying to kick it loose. Gravelin came in, tried to sneak it loose. Whistle and play will be stopped.
Ranheim had a great shot, point blank in front. Generis' biggest save of the game, and it was a good low pad save as Ranheim rifled it off on that. Then Ford had the shot dead center and shot it over the top of the net, but they moved the puck well and worked hard and had 3 good chances to score. And they get my vote for getting the first shot at the next power play. That was the most intensity we may have seen in the entire hockey game from the Wisconsin team, but they could not put the puck away, and credit Generis, Paul, with the big save, because it's a power play goal if he doesn't make it, and the Badgers are at 6-3.
And the face-off will come up now to the left side of Generis in a 6-2 game. And the draw is cleared out of the zone. Both teams are at equal strength. We've had 8 minors called in the game, 5 on Northern, and 3 on the Wisconsin Badgers.
You like Northern's offense this period? Flip it out. Well, that one's icing. That's all right. Come back. Flip it out. Well, that one's not icing.
Figuring 6 is enough, huh?
Figuring it's a safe way to play. And it is. Need a goal, at least one, here in the next 6:30.
Face-off coming up to the left side now as Rivak is out, or pardon me, Chipper is out with Geisness and Gravelin. Badgers set it up. There's a backhander taken, trying to go to the net. And a shot by Chipper went in behind the cage. Chipper down to the corner of the right side with a puck. Chipper tried to go to Gravelin. Gravelin with it down to the corner of the right board. Gravelin with it now as he goes back to the point of the pass. Down to the corner, played back to the net over to Chipper. Chipper with the puck down in on the left wing. He goes down to the corner. Coming over to try and pick it up. Chipper with it, working the wing. Trying to get something set up. Back for Geisness. And there's a Badger taken down. A penalty called.
And the Badgers will go on another power play. And I'll be back.
So we have 5 minutes and 58 seconds remaining here in the second period. And we're going to have another penalty coming up now against Northern Michigan. And heading to the penalty box, giving the Badgers a man advantage, is Voss. Ralph Voss, 6'2", 183-pounder. So he goes to the box, and Wisconsin with a man advantage here.
Well, the Badgers get another break ball and get a chance to get that goal back as they go on the power play once again. This one comes for interference as the Badger dumped in front of the net and comes up the 14:02 mark.
Face-off coming up to the left side of Generis, who had a total of 18 saves in the first period. Anderson had 10. Richter in goal here in the second.
Go ahead, Paul.
You go ahead. I'm struggling for things to say.
The draw is important right here because the Badgers will save about 30 seconds if they win this faceoff, which they did.
And it's Morey with it, and he bangs it around the boards, held in by Thomas, played down to the corner of the near side. Over to Mellenby. Mellenby with the puck, working down in on the wing on the left. Mellenby back over to Thomas. Thomas just inside the line. Around over to Wiedela. Back over to Dave Maley, and it's deflected back out to center ice. I think it's time for the other power play unit, Huffy.
I have no comment.
And it goes back over to Wheeler. Wheeler working back of the net on the far side over to Thomas. We have 5:28 remaining here. As it's coughed up down to the corner over to Mellenby. Back of the cage to Wheeler. Wheeler with the puck. We have 1:23 remaining on the man advantage. Moved up ice. Here's Dave Maley cutting it over the line. Maley cross ice over to Mellenby. Mellenby with the puck on the right wing. Mellenby goes back to the point over to Dave Maley. Maley with it. Back to Marty Wheeler. Cross ice over to Ryan. Back over to Maley. It's deflected by Generis. Up over the glass and out of play.
Well, they moved the puck nicely that time. They did set it up, but the Badgers did not put it away. And they've been out for a minute, almost a minute now. And the Badgers still trail 6-2 with 5:02 to go. They're on their 5th power play of the night. They are just 1 of 4. Moved the puck nicely on that occasion and got it to the back door, but the Badgers unable to put it away once again.
So we have the face-off coming up to the left side of Generis. And the draw is cleared out of the zone, and the Badgers will have to go back to set it up again. Richter knocking it down. Richter moving it to Tim Thomas. Thomas with it, back of the net. And Northern has worked the penalty time down to 50 seconds remaining in the man advantage. And moved up ice, controlling it, cutting it over the line. And with the puck, with it is Ryan. Ryan with it, down to the corner of the left side. And it comes back down towards center ice, moved up ice. Richter way out of the net, steered it past right. Badgers look to set it up, coming in over the line. Ryan over the drive, knocked down. Rebound comes loose on the near wing. Over to Thomas, played back down to the corner, over to try and pick it up. And with it is Mellenby. Mellenby walking out in front over to Maley. When on the tip to Ryan, didn't work. And it's loose to the boards on the near side. As Ryan played it back of the cage, Mellenby over to try and control. This power play unit's been out the entire 2 minutes. And it's played down to the corner, now setting it up. Mellenby trying to go to the net. Puck comes loose in the near boards, back over to Thomas. Thomas with it, cross ice, trying to go over to Dave Maley. And the Badgers are not going to convert on this power play opportunity because Northern's at full strength. Poking at it was Mellenby. And it's cleared up the far boards and brought out of the Northern zone. And that'll cause an icing.
Had the one good chance on the back door. But a 2-minute shift is a little long, Paul, especially later in the second period. And those people probably should have disciplined themselves and come off. When you're tired, you're not quite as good as when you're fresh. And the Badgers now 1 of 5 on the power play, and really, Northern's taken 3 consecutive penalties here over the span of the second period, Paul, and the Badgers have not been able to capitalize on it.
So the score remains at 6-2. And the draw to Matt Walsh at the point. Played it in on Generis. Ernie Vargas trying to pick it up. Ernie back of the net now with some help trying to set something up to Ranheim. And it's moved up ice. With it is Voss. Voss cutting it over the line. Played by Matt Walsh. Back of the Badger net. Around over to McKenzie. To the near boards. And Saverin there. Saverin played it back to the Badger cage. Around to Matt Walsh. Going behind the net to McKenzie. Picked up by Matt Walsh. And Matt Walsh moving it up ice on the lead pass, knocking it down to Ranheim. Ranheim at the near boards with it, back to the Badger blue line to McKenzie. Ahead on the pass to Ernie Vargas, driving it in on Generis, kicked it out, gave it to Olsen in front of the net. And it's played by Saverin, trying to backhand it out, and West cleared it out of the zone. And back goes Matt Walsh to pick it up for Wisconsin. 2 minutes, 52 seconds remaining in the second period. Matt Ford in the neutral zone. Chizowski is there. And it's played away by Bordur down to the corner on the right side in the Badger zone. Around to McKenzie, trying to go to Matt Walsh. And with it is Ranheim working back at the net. Here's Ranheim trying to work his way loose at center ice as he tried to go to Chipper. Played by Vargas to the blue line of Northern. Take it away there. Knocked down by Wright. Lost it to Geisness. Geisness on the lead, back in over the line. With it is Chipper. Chipper trying to go right side of the pass to Gravelin. Gravelin went behind the net, trying to go to Geisness. Geisness tied up by Chizowski, centered into the net. Toward the net, cleared by Poindexter. Here's Poindexter carrying it to the Wisconsin line. Take it away there, knocked down in the neutral zone, picked up by Chipper. Chipper in over the line to the right side of the drive. And Daenerys with the save. And it's Geisen is trying to get help from Gravelin to set something up. Chipper down to the corner to the right side. Here's Chipper with the puck in the right circle, and he fired a shot, and covering up is Generis.
Look how Northern Michigan protected in front of the net. The two wings for Wisconsin absolutely got blocked completely away from the goaltender. They stood him right up, wouldn't give him any chance, and just let Generis make the save again from not a good shooting angle, Paul. And they're just clearing out in front and taking the man. And the Badgers are going to come out and they're going to say, boy, look at all the shots we had, but only 2 or 3 real good ones.
And it's a 6-2 game right now with 1:50 remaining here in the second period. Northern Michigan looking very, very good here tonight, as they've had a pretty good season so far, and they've won 20 games, lost 12, and tied once.
And all 6 of their goals in the first period.
And it's set up by Daryl Olson. Olson with the puck now, trying to backhand it out. He got it to Poindexter. Played it to the neutral zone, broke it up by Mellenby, re-intercepted by Olson. At center ice, Wisconsin regrouping, back it over the line with it is Mellenby with the drive, up over the glass and out of play.
But that's 10 steps inside the blue line, and it's going to be a rare occurrence if you're going to beat Generis from that far out. You have to be more aggressive in front of their net and work harder in the corners and get the scramble goals and the rebound goals, because they're going to give you the perimeter shots all night long, and that's their defensive alignment here in the second period, and they're really picking up their men well in front of the net.
And the puck comes loose now. A backhander by Ryan just wide of the mark, in behind the cage. Badgers look to try and pick it up. Dave Maley with the puck. Maley along with Ryan trying to control it. Knocking it down. With it is Poindexter. And Poindexter tried to advance it. He picks it up in the neutral zone. Tied up by Dave Maley. And it's controlled by Northern. With it is Olson dropping it down to the corner of the right side. We are down to 1:08 remaining in the second period. Northern leading at 6-2. Played ahead to Dave Maley. There's Maley cutting it over the blue line. Maley with it, lost it on the far wing to Randall, and Randall flipped it up over the glass and out of play.
Less than a minute to go. Northern has hung on to that 6-2 lead, and they haven't tested Mike Richter one time here in the second period, Paul. I mean, he's not going to have 3 saves, and Generis probably going to have his 12 or 14. But again, only one big one, the one on Ranheim. The rest basically were shots into his body where he made the easy save, and has had a lot of help in front of the net.
So we have the face-off coming up to the left side. Back in the Wildcat zone, the draw to the point over to Matt Waltz with a drive. Generis kicked it out. Bill, he seems to be getting stronger as the game is progressing.
But he's only got to stop the initial shot.
And moving it in, there's Ernie with a shot and a goal. Ernie Vargas gets the goal, his 15th for the year. And Wisconsin has cut the deficit to 6-3.
Well, finally a turnover by Northern Michigan, and it was 2-on-1 in the Northern Michigan zone. And Ernie did not get picked up, and he had all the time in the world to walk in. They caught him 2-on-1. He walked in, he used the man in front and rifled it in the lower left-hand corner. One of the few times the Badgers have had time to shoot, and Ernie had all the time in the world, walked in and really cranked it. And they gave the assist before, but it was Ranheim who gave him the puck, so we're going to give the assist to Ranheim. And that goal is very, very important.
For what reason?
Well, one, it gives you a little momentum in a period in which you needed to get a couple back, and you know now that you came out and outscored them and won that period.
And moving it up ice, it's played by Morey down to the corner on the left side with 33 seconds remaining. Back over to Matt Walsh with it, back over to Ernie Vargas. Ernie tried to hit Pat Ford in the lead, broke it up with 25 seconds. You better get a period. And it comes back now with it is Morey. Morey headmanning the puck in the neutral zone over the track. Get over the blue line, knocking it down. McKenzie trying to backhand it out. We have 15 seconds remaining. Goes to Olson. Olson trying to get into Badger zone. It comes to McKenzie. McKenzie back of the net, comes around over to Ranheim. Ranheim will work it out of the zone. They got to hurry. Somebody's got to fire it. There's Matt Walsh moving in over the line, shot it. But the second period has come to the end. And after 2 periods of play, it is the Wisconsin Badgers trailing the Wildcats of Northern Michigan 6-3.
Start now to build security and prestige. Northern Michigan University is the way. With an associate degree or certificate, you can get into the working world quickly. 1- or 2-year programs will give you the qualifications to meet tomorrow's challenge with confidence and pride. Call Northern's admissions office at 227-2650 or toll free at 800-682-9797.
This is Public TV 13, WNMU TV Marquette, a broadcasting service of Northern Michigan University.
Local acquisition of Wildcat hockey was made possible by a grant from the Northern Michigan University Hockey Blue Line Club.
We are back at the Dane County Memorial Coliseum, where after 40 minutes of action, it's the Wildcats of Northern Michigan University leading the Wisconsin Badgers by a score of 6-3. It was 6-2 after 1, and there was only 1 goal scored in the middle period tonight, and that came up at the 19:16 mark of the period, and it was scored by Ernie Vargas, and Ernie getting his 15th goal of the year, with the assist going to Ford, his 21st of the year. But it was Ranheim who really made the play. Ranheim getting the assist as he gave the puck to Ernie Vargas, and he beat Janaris. And for Ranheim, it was his 18th assist of the season. Ernie Vargas with his 15th goal of the year, and that's a big goal for Wisconsin. Not only a little momentum there, but it came late in the period at the 19:16 mark, and Wisconsin now down by 3 goals. The feeling here in the press box at the Dane County Memorial Coliseum after 2, between periods, is that, hey, Wisconsin is still in this hockey game. That they are a very explosive hockey team, and if they can get their act together, they still have an opportunity to come back and win this game. And this period could tell you a little bit about the Wisconsin Badgers. They have in their grasp the opportunity to potentially finish first or second in the WCHA. Denver is winning on Friday night. They're leading Michigan Tech 6-4. North Dakota is ahead of Colorado College 4-2, and Minnesota is leading Duluth by a score of 2-1. But if the Badgers are going to get one of those 2 top spots, they're going to have to come back here in the 3rd period. And in that period, Janaris, look at the total, Bill Howard, 22 second period saves.
However, statistics don't win games. You and I have talked about that many, many times, and analyzed the 22 saves. He robbed Maley on the back door on the power play. He beat Ranheim on the power play in close. All the rest were relatively easy saves with no second shot, and that's a big key here in the 3rd period. Mike Richter, he had a lot of shots. He had 2. So you can say it's 40-12 in shots, but stats don't win the game, and the scoreboard says 6-3. And we can always say that the next goal is a big goal, couldn't we?
We got to say that for the next 3 for the Badgers if they were to get them.
They can still win the hockey game. Yeah, we got to keep this place clean, right? But if you're going to win the hockey game, you got to go with your 9 best forwards and your 4 best defensemen, and you got to pick those out. And if you hurt somebody's feelings because they're not playing, then that's the way it is. Because right now, Paul, if you win this game, you come back and win it, you're going to be in the final 8, because it's going to be a big momentum builder. How's that for a
You're pretty emphatic about that statement there.
Well, you just analyze it. It's a big period of hockey for Wisconsin.
And let's see what happens here as we're underway in the 3rd period. With it is Randall backhanding it, and it's played down to the corner on the left side of the Badger zone. Braid with a shot. Richter knocked it down. Badgers go back with Thomas on the near wing over to Mellenby. Mellenby bumped and cut off from the near boards. It comes back over to Tim Thomas. Moved it past track. Badgers head men it out over to Ryan. Ryan moving it up ice, trying to beat Randall. Cut in over the blue line. Down went Thomas as Randall took him out of the play. And it's Ryan back to the point on the left side over to Dave Maley. Back over to Marty Wheeler. Wheeler with a drive. Knocked down to Mellenby with a shot. And it's blocked by Janaris. There's a couple of good opportunities early.
Actually, that was blocked by a defenseman in behind Janaris on Mellenby's rebound.
And it's Mellenby back to Wheeler. Cross ice to the point over to Thomas. They try to come across over to Marty Wheeler with a drive. Wheeler with the puck back over to Dave Maley. Shot it behind the net. And the Badgers have come out pretty aggressive here to start the 3rd period. And they try to go to the net. Then it's deflected all the way back in the Wisconsin zone. 18:57 remaining here in the 3rd period. 6-3. And Thomas with the puck played it to the blue line of the Wildcats. Broken up there. With it is Bordur. And he dumped it down to the right wing corner of the Badger zone. Picked up by Matt Walsh in the far wing. Here's Walsh moving up ice. Walsh is tied up by Chizowski as Northern with the puck now, and they turn, trying to bring it out of the zone. And it comes loose to center ice and chasing it back down to the Badger zone. Coming over trying to pick it up, loose on the near wing. Back down to the corner of the near side goes Ernie Vargas, take it away, right to Chizowski, right out in front. And a backhander knocked down the right, took another shot made by Wisconsin. And played up ice, and it's held in the zone by Northern. Cleared out of the slot. It's forward over to try and pick it up. Over to Ernie Vargas. Ernie Vargas on the far side. Here's Ernie cutting it over the line. Ernie with it on the wing is tied up in traffic, but he played it down to the corner of the net. Going behind the net, coming to the point of the right side over to Buns. Buns with the puck. Turn tried to pick it up, knocked down at center ice in the near wing, cutting to the line of the Badgers, taken away by Ranheim. Here's Ranheim coming back, and he played it down to the right wing corner of the Northern zone. Back goes Morey over to set it up. Morey with the puck. 3 assists tonight for Morey, number 14 of the Wildcats. Up ice on the far side as Geisness and Chipper trying to hold it in. And Geisness overskated the puck, picked up by Emmons. Here's Emmons back of his own net. Emmons is tied up there by Geisness, around over to Chipper. Back over to Morey, taken away by Geisness. Geisness working down to the corner on the right side. Back over to Chipper. It's Geisness in the corner, pinned against the board. Badgers look to try and hold the zone, but it's moved up ice. And with it is Voss to the Badger line. Badgers regroup there, and they dump it back to the Wildcat line. And the puck loose in the neutral zone. Lanigan with it. He turned, played it in over the Wisconsin line. And it's played to Stanton from Buns on the near side. And it's played up ice by Stanton. Here's Stanton sticking over the puck, and he played it down in the left, and it's picked up by Mellenby. Mellenby run against the boards. Mellenby getting up a little slow over in the corner. Tim Thomas with the puck on the far side. Poindexter tied him up. Badgers look to try and hold the zone with Mellenby down to the corner. Mellenby trying to go to the high slot to Ryan. Thomas with it. Played it back in behind the net. Dave Maley over to try and pick it up. Puck comes loose to the near side. It's Ryan down to the corner. Tried to go off on the wing and the pass to Maley. And it's set up to turn, and with it is Voss playing it up ice. Here's Poindexter trying to catch up with it. Richter flipped it up over the glass and out of play.
And Mike Richter couldn't decide whether to let that puck go for the icing or get out and shoot it out off the boards, and he decided, I'm not going to wait any longer, but he missed the boards. The goal light above the Northern Michigan end does not work. And they're going to wave a towel if the goal goes in. How's that sound?
Well, let's hope they don't do any waving here in the third period.
Well, it's above the Northern Michigan net, though. They want them to wave a lot.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misunderstood what they said, Bill. I misunderstood what you said.
I mean, if we don't wave a lot, we're in trouble, buddy.
That's right. Let's hope it waves 4 times. I'm sorry. And it's played in on Richter, and he covered up, and he made the save there.
Richter's already had more saves this period than he had in the second. They had a couple chances there, and he come out, cut the angle down pretty good.
I was writing something here, not looking at it on a monitor.
You never listen to me anyway. I just like talking to myself.
And the puck is loose on the far side over to try and pick it up. Ernie Vargas. Here's Ernie cutting it up at the line. They got 4 to move into the net. They gain the pass, but 4 went behind him. Back over to Matt Walsh, steered down to the corner on the near side. Badgers look over to set it up. Ernie Vargas with the puck in the corner of the right side. And it's cleared out of the zone. With it is Hartley. Hartley with it. Back over to Poindexter. Drove it behind the net. And it's picked up down to the corner. Poindexter with the puck. Back over to Matt Walsh. Walsh down in the corner of the near side. Walsh with the puck. Moving it up ice now. Trying to control it. 15:44. Remaining in the third period. And it's flipped up over the boards and out of play. And we have a stoppage of the action.
That was a 2-on-1 drive by Ernie. He made the right play. He took the defenseman with him. The man without the puck didn't read the play, Paul. And Ernie passed the puck where he should have, but the man without the puck, Pat Ford in this case, didn't read the open lane. And that's what happens a lot of times 2-on-1. You're so anxious to go to the net that you don't stay back where the open lane was for Ernie to pass the puck. And a lot of times you look 2-on-1, you say, oh, what a bad pass by Ernie. But it's the man without the puck that so often makes the play.
Bill, can you sense anything watching the club here early in the period? Maybe that they have a little bit of that momentum or motion or feeling back a little bit?
Well, they came out storming, and really a defenseman in behind the goaltender, Generis, made the save on Mellenby's shot, and you just wonder if when the Badgers came out aggressively like that, if they needed that goal right away to get in the game. And it'll be interesting to see if they can come back hard again, because the first 3-4 shifts they had good pressure, and they may have lost some of that fall because of the fact they didn't score. So it'll be interesting to see if they can maintain that pressure.
And we have 15:41 remaining in the third period. With it is Wiedela playing it down to the corner to the right side. Dave Maley chasing it. And the puck comes loose to the near boards as Northern flips it out to the Badger line. Back comes Thomas. Thomas on the near wing with the puck. They'll work it up ice now. Headman it, knocking it down. Badgers look to carry it in over the line, and offside is going to be called on Wisconsin.
And every 5 minutes it ticks off that clock, you get a little deeper and deeper into trouble. And I can just see Northern Michigan saying, let's play in 5-minute segments, keep the lead. And
get one goal at the 15-minute mark, the 10-minute mark, and the 5-minute mark.
That's what the Badgers got to do. They need one here in a hurry to get. And I think the next one, if you get it early here in the third period, Paul, can really be a difference in the hockey game.
And it's set up now at the blue line of the Wildcats. Played ahead, knocked out of the neutral zone. With it is Mellenby. Here's Mellenby with the puck now. Played back in to the right side of Generis as she looks out from goal. Badgers look to try and hold the attacking zone. With it is Thomas. Thomas with a drive. That's deflected up over the glass and out of play.
A little too long to crank it, and a good defensive play by Northern Michigan. And they're not playing quite the defensive shell that they played in the second period. I think they found out they were in trouble if they did that, although they only allowed the one goal. But they're still playing hard in front of their net, Paul. And I think the real key, if you're going to win the hockey game, is you have to do something in front of Generis so he can't see the puck, and you have to get a second shot.
And the face-off, and the puck comes loose on the far side. Knocking it down and in the neutral zone. Over to set it up now. Controlling it is Chipper. Chipper along with Geisness work it in over the blue line. It's played away from their sticks, knocked down, and set up at center ice. Over to pick it up was Bordur, and he played it down in on the right wing, back in behind the Wisconsin net. Around back over to Stanton. Stanton with the puck, trying to work it loose. Right-handed. Lost it. It's cleared by Kipper. Sliding it ahead to Gravelin. Bumped by Randall. Puck loose at center ice. Picked up by Wright. And it's played in the neutral zone. Driven down to the corner of the left by Chizowski. Badgers go back, and with it is Buns, quickly turning it on the lead to Chipper, and it got past the skate of Lanigan, but trailing was Saraband over to pick it up, and a Badger checked the goaltender there. May have been inadvertent, not sure. Ernie Vargas holding it in. Ernie with the puck, tried to set it toward the net. Knocked down, it's loose as the Badgers try to free it in the slot, and Wisconsin trying to bring it up ice, but it's controlled. Northern back in over the line on the left side. Emmons with it, drop pass to Voss with a drive, knocked down, a follow and a goal. And the hat trick for Emmons. His 43rd goal of the year, and that's a new record for the Wildcats of Northern Michigan University. 43 goals in a season.
Got a nose for the net. Ernie Vargas came back hard. It was a 2-on-1 to help out, and then no one stayed with Emmons after he made the pass. And the shot came from the middle of the area, about 20 feet out. Richter made the saves, and then the Badgers did not pick Emmons on the back door. They took the man with the puck and didn't take Emmons on the back door.
I think that one broke the back, Howie.
I'm afraid you could be right.
And moving it up ice as Emmons gets the goal with the assist going to West and Voss. In over the line, Ranheim with a drive and covering up and making the save.
If you're going to get back in it, you got to do it right away. You got 13 minutes. You can score 4 goals in 13 minutes, but you got to get the momentum builder back, and that's the next goal. And we talked about, remember you asked compare Emmons and Hall early in the game?
Yeah.
Remember what I said about he was a little sniper and he gets the puck in that area and he's very good around the net. I guess that was a prime example, wasn't it? He dropped the puck back, then went to the net. Nobody took him. Shot was made. The save made by Richter on Voss's shot, and then no one picked up Emmons, and he picked up the loose puck and wrapped it in behind Richter.
And a moved up ice coming in over the line with the puck. Morey tried to work it toward the net. A shot is blocked and knocked down. Richter quickly back up. And moving it back up ice now. The Badgers down by 4 goals. It's played to the blue line of Wisconsin. Or from the line, rather, down to the Northern Michigan zone. Steered down to the corner. Ford is hooked. Down he goes. No penalty called there. And the whistle and play will be stopped in the corner, and we'll have a face-off coming up.
In addition to everything else in the game, and we've talked about this so many times this season, another big difference in the game, Paul. Badgers 1 of 5 in the power play, and Northern Michigan is 2 of 2. Now, I don't care what the stats say. I don't care if Generis has 60 saves. When you go back and analyze all the saves he makes, you aren't going to have 2 handfuls. You aren't going to have 10 that are tough ones.
Yeah, when you look, if you look at the box score in the paper in the morning, you'll think, holy smokes. And we have 13-13 remaining.
How many chances have the Badgers had like Emmons had?
Not many.
That's a big difference also.
And the face-off of the draw, back up to Mellenby. Mellenby trying to move it right out in front, came just inside the line. And it's broken up now, moving it in. And here's Curtis moving it in. Curtis off the great shot. And a beautiful save by Richter on a 2-on-nobody break. And a move back up ice, controlling the puck now, coming back in over the line. Knocking it down to the neutral zone, coming over trying to pick it up. We have 12:48 remaining. And back in over the line, whistle and play will be stopped.
On that 2-on-nobody break, I like the nice interference pick by the one player that slid across in front of the Badger defenseman and said, "Oh, excuse me, are you trying to get over there?" But basically it was done so nicely he couldn't get called for it. And now the Badgers have taken a penalty away from the play. That penalty goes to Dave Maley, and the way he's going like this and so on, he might get more than just 2. And when you're down 7-3, that's about the last thing that you can afford to do. Richter made an unbelievable save on the 2-on-nobody. And there it is. He gets 2 and 2. He got a penalty initially, which I did not see, and then he got unsportsmanlike.
2 minutes for slashing, 2 minutes for unsportsmanlike conduct.
And boy, if you weren't in trouble before, guess what?
That 2 minutes hurts worse than the 10, doesn't it?
Yep.
In a sense, obviously, the 10 minutes for Maley on the bench, but now this way they're going to get that 4 minutes of power play hockey.
And with 12:44 to go, you really got your back against the wall. And now we hear that he may have got a 10-minute misconduct, too. I didn't hear that. I just heard the 2 and 2. He may get 2, 2, and 10. Let me see if these people behind us are watching.
Yes, that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. So we have 2, 2, and 10. That's 14 minutes for Maley and 1 shot there. And right now we're going to have play coming up in the neutral zone. 7-3 the score. Isn't this fun?
I'm not a real excited person right now, PB. If some of the people think I'm down a little bit, I don't know why that would be. We just take 14 minutes in penalties in addition to losing 7-3. It's a lot to be positive about.
Played down to the corner on the far side over to Thomas. Puck comes loose now. Thomas back of the net over to try and pick it up. On the wing, going over to set it up now with 12:23 remaining in the period. 3 minutes 37 seconds remaining on the man advantage here for Northern Michigan. And played on the wing on the far side as Mellenby tries to work it out of the zone. Knocked it down and he played it to center ice. And coming over to pick it up, and the puck comes loose, and here comes Kim Thomas sit over the blue line on the left side. Thomas with the puck trying to go over to Mellenby. On the wing, take it off the stick of Mellenby. Mellenby tripped up a man.
I decided not to call that one.
And he could have there.
Yeah, he probably should have, and he felt sorry for us, so he didn't.
And it's knocked down now, trying to hold the zone, moving it in. Bosch with the backhander wide. And the puck comes loose on the near wing over to try and set it up. Emmons is out. Down to the corner on the near wing. It's West with it. Here's West with the puck now. Back to the point. There's a drive. Deflected down to the corner to Emmons. Emmons over to try and control it. Back to the point on the left side. Over to Olsen. And it comes out of the zone, and they blow the whistle and stop the play.
Well, we've almost killed one of the penalties off. Down to 20 or 44 seconds, and then another 2-minute power play. So they're going to get 2 penalties out of this. And Dave Maley won't return to the ice, I guess, for the rest of the game because he went in with less than 14 minutes to play.
That is correct.
Well, he gets a long rest. And I'll tell you one thing, the Badgers had a lot of shots in the second period, but again, Paul, we've talked about in front of the net is where you win or lose the games, and the Northern's been better in front of our net and better in front of their net.
The Badgers really haven't done anything in front of Northern's net here in the third period. Back in behind the cage, around a chipper on the far side, over to try and pick it up, back to the point on the right. It comes back over to Randall. Randall with the puck trying to go, and he did to Poindexter down to the corner. On the near side, it comes back over to Poindexter. Poindexter with a drive wide. It goes around to the point on the right side. Held in by Good on the far wing. And it's picked up by Chizowski. It is passed to the point intended for Randall. Comes all the way out of the zone. We have 2 minutes and 5 seconds remaining on the double minor call to Dave Maley. And to the blue line, cutting it over the line on the near boards and coming back over to set it up. And it's played in the neutral zone. 7-3 the score. Northern Michigan out in front of the Badgers here And it's played up ice on the far side, breaking it over the blue line. Moving to the net was Poindexter. Couldn't get him the puck, went in behind the Badger cage, and the Cardinal in white will clear it out of their own zone. The 15-game winning streak of the Wisconsin Badgers at the Coliseum, I believe, is going to come to an end here. The record was 16. They're not going to set it unless they really get their act together here in the last 10 minutes because they're down by 4 goals. And with it is Emmons. Emmons circling now, back in his own zone. Emmons with the puck now, and he'll skate some time around to move it out of the zone to pick up some steam as he picks it up. And he carries it to Olsen, who flipped it ahead on the pass. Over to Morey. Morey cutting it over the line, trying to go right side. Taken away by Thomas. Thomas working back at the net, looks down to the corner of the near side. And Thomas is tied up, trying to work his way loose. And it comes back to the point as it's set up to Emmons. Emmons with it, played it on the wing on the left, taken away by Mellenby. And he drove it the length of the ice. 9 minutes, 32 seconds remaining.
Thomas just kicked the Northern Michigan stick after he took it away from him, and he's going to get a penalty.
And coming it over the line, Poindexter with a drive, saved by Richter. Rebound comes loose. It comes back over to Olsen. Olsen with a drive, and it's covered up by Richter. Whistle and play is going to be stopped.
So Thomas will go in, and they're going to get another power play. Any chance that you ever wanted to have of winning or coming back in the hockey game going out the window very simply because of the fact that the Badgers are taking dumb penalties.
I missed what happened there, Bill.
The official just ran into a player for Northern Michigan, the linesman, and they both fell down.
Okay.
But, you know, he held the stick and then dropped it to the ice and then kicked it, and Thomas let him get away with the one, and then he kicked it. And there have been a couple of instances throughout the season where certain players have not showed very good judgment on the ice. Need I say any more?
Yeah, say some more, Bill.
No, I don't think I'll say any more. I mean, they know, you know, I know.
What about the listeners and the viewers, though? Do they know?
They don't, they haven't been around.
9 minutes, 17 seconds remaining. And the face-off to draw to the point on the left side. Coming around on the right is set up to Good. Good just inside the blue line. Over to Randall. It's still power play hockey here. In fact, it's 5-on-3 right now.
Kicking stick, new penalty.
And there's a drive by Randall, knocked down by Richter. The puck comes loose down to the corner. Over to Poindexter. Poindexter with the puck going cross ice in the pass. Played down in the corner to the right. And they got Chizowski all alone in the slot. Can't get him the puck. And it was the Badgers trying to bring it out of the zone. And we have 8:45 remaining now. Here in the third period, it's 7-3. Back to the point on the right side. Coming over to try and pick it up. And Chizowski in front of the net. Poindexter's handled the shot, broke his stick, kicked it behind the net. And they go to Chizowski in the slot, and the Badgers clear it out of the zone. So now it's a 5-on-4 power play advantage for the next 108. As Tim Thomas is in the penalty box for the sticking penalty, or whatever they called it.
Kicking the stick.
Kicking the stick. And it's Emmons with it. Emmons drop pass and moving it in around to Voss. Voss trying to go to the net. And it's cleared by the Badgers. Moved up ice as Mellenby tried to skate it down. And we have 8:05 remaining in the period. 7-3 Northern Michigan out in front of the Badgers here. And moving it back up ice, controlling the puck now. And it's played ahead on the pass. And coming to the blue line, here's Emmons with it. Emmons drop pass, a shot knocked down by Richter. And it's picked up by Mellenby on the far side, and he clears it out of the zone. Now we've got Mellenby and West. And Mellenby right on top of West and knocked him down. Whistle, and play will be stopped. And we're going to take a break on the Wisconsin Educational Television Network. And it's time once again to cast your vote for WHA's 7th Man Award. A handsome trophy that is given annually to the Badger player who typifies Wisconsin trademarks of team spirit, aggressive play, and good sportsmanship. Send it to 7th Man Award in care of WHA, 21 University Avenue in Madison. The zip code is 53706. And remember, you may vote only once and only for one player, and all votes will be received, hopefully, no later than March 30th.
The Northern Michigan penalty to number 10, Joe West. The Wisconsin penalty to number 19.
Mellenby and West both go in for roughing back away from the play, so their power play now becomes a 4-on-3. We already have some people in there, Thomas and That creates the 4-on-3, but they're coincidental, so it should stay 5-on-4. How do you like that? Remember the coincidental rule, which is pretty important tonight, right? Let's see. North Dakota 5-3 over CC. Denver 6-4 over Tech. And Minnesota 3-2 in the third over Duluth.
And we have 7 minutes 34 seconds remaining here. And the moved up ice stick end of the puck now. Here's Morris trying to get down to the Badgers zone. We have 9 seconds remaining here on the penalty time. And with it is Marty Wiedela. That is on some of the penalties. Now Tim Thomas will come out of the box. And it's played up ice coming back in over the line. I'm not sure what the crowd is hollering about, Bill. Do you?
No, I don't know either. Back to 5-on-5. They're upset about something. They're trying to figure out the penalty situation, see why it is what it is. But we had coincidental penalties, and it was 5-on-4 because they're coincidental. It stays 5-on-4. And now it'll stay 4-on-4. Now they're going to say it's 5-on-5. It can't be 5-on-5. It's got to be 4-on-4. I'm not going to figure out the rules.
Well, at 12:18, let's see. You should have. Bailey is obviously still in the box in the 10-minute misconduct, but that does not mean the team is shorthanded.
So they better figure this out, because they got, unless Maley's other penalty hadn't expired yet, which means Mellenby's couldn't start that, or I don't know. But I think it's got to be a 4-on-4 here, and they're playing 5-on-5. You can't play 5-on-5 when each team has a penalty, because we're not in the National Hockey League where you match it up and you play 5-on-5. It's got to be 4-on-4.
And we understand that the light is now working here.
We haven't turned it on, though.
7-3, Northern Michigan in front of the Badgers. Played down to the corner of the right side. Back of it to Tim Thomas. Thomas with the puck. Hurting, and he gives it on the pass to Ernie Vargas. Quickly to Ranheim. Ranheim cutting in, trying to go to the net. Ranheim slid it toward the slot. Penalty.
Well, if I was wrong 4-on-4 or 5-on-5, now it's going to be 5-on-4.
Hooking is the call.
Yep. Ranheim on the drive the net forced that penalty, and he's been able to do that a number of times this season. So Northern goes back in the penalty box again. For the 8th time in the game, the Badgers have 8, 3 at one time.
Samarin goes in the box. Rick Comley said that the Badgers have the greatest advantage of any team in the league with the Dane County Memorial Coliseum and the home crowd.
He's sandbagging us a little bit there, I think. I wonder what he'll say tomorrow. I sure like playing in the Coliseum.
Well, they were 0 of 6 coming in here. The Badgers had won 7 out of 9 between the two teams, but tonight it's been all Wildcats so far.
And we're going to have the face-off in the Northern Michigan zone. Just under 7 minutes to go. Wisconsin trails 7-3.
And Ranheim with a drive, and the save was made. A nice save there, too. And it's played to Ernie Vargas down to the corner. Ernie with the puck now, trying to work it loose. Back to Pat Ford. Ford working back at the net. Trying to set it up. Pat Ford with the puck around to the far side. As it's just inside the blue line over to Matt Walsh. Walsh stick handling with it. Fired it toward the net. Knocked down. And Ernie Vargas pushed it wide. Went in behind the net. Pat Ford over to try and pick it up. Ford and Vargas working back of the cage. Played to the point on the near side and cleared out of the zone. We have 6 minutes and 20 seconds remaining here in the third period. 7-3. Northern out in front of the Badgers. And moved up ice, controlling it down the neutral zone. Ernie Vargas cutting it over the line. Ernie off to Ranheim, back to Vargas. Shot! And the save is made by Generis.
Nice give and go, though, between Ranheim and Vargas.
That's 2 big saves there in that little flurry in the last minute or so. Back over to Matt Walsh on the near side. Walsh with the puck on the near boards. Coming over trying to pick it up, clearing it to center ice. And it's moved by Tuttle. Tuttle is bumped at the blue line of Northern. And I'm trying to pick it up down to the corner. He's checked. Puck comes loose. And over to pick it up. Ford with a drive. And Generis picked it out. Loose to the near wing as the Badgers, Pat Ford, along with a couple of his Stanton with a shot from the point. And it was deflected by Generis. And it's cleared out of the zone. Now we have 32 seconds remaining on the penalty time to Severin. Score remains, though, 7-3, as the Badgers have 5 minutes, 20 seconds remaining here to do something about it in the third period. Reback with the puck. Over to Marty Wiedela. He lost it. It comes out of the zone. Wiedela along with Bright and Reback in the neutral zone, setting it up. Here's Reback coming back in over the line, trying to go to Tuttle, broken up, and it's dumped the length of the ice.
Well, the Badgers are not going to convert on this power play with Generis. Maybe two big saves, as you said. Now we're under 5 minutes, and they just couldn't come back from that 6-goal barrage that Northern had in that first period.
It was 6-2 after 1. Northern out in front. And with it comes Tuttle. Tuttle in over the line on the far wing. Tuttle down to the corner. And it's broken up, and it comes to center ice. Coming back in over the blue line. And with it just inside the line, trying to set it up. The drive from the point, knocked down by Richter. And it's cleared now as the Badgers. Tuttle with it. Off over to Ryan. Ryan cutting it over the line. Lost control of the puck. With it is Poindexter. Poindexter with it, and it's taken away by Bunt. Drove it down to the corner on the far board. Back over to Morey. Morey turned, trying to bring it out. Badgers look to hold it in. Ackervik with it, and it was cleared for Mystic. We have 4:12 remaining. Back over to Stanton. Stanton with a drive, knocked down by Generis. Stanton back over. Geisness in front of the net, and the heavy traffic, and it was cleared. To the wing to Poindexter. Back to the point, held in by Buns. Flipped on the wing. Going down to the corner is Chipper trying to pick it up. Chipper to Geisness. Overskated the puck, broken up, and now Northern will set it up in the neutral zone, and they flip it down to the left wing corner of the Badgers zone. And coming back over, and with it is Chipper. Chipper with it now. And Chipper moving it ahead to Ackervik. Ackervik in over the line. Ackervik with the puck. Laid down in the corner on the far side. As it's played back into behind the cage to the point on the right side. Over to Matt Walsh with a drive. And it goes up over the glass and out of play. Well, Bill, I think you have to say in one of the biggest games of the year for the Badgers, with a lot of things on the line, it tells you a little bit about the hockey team, and they did not perform very well tonight.
No, and you talk about having to come back now and having your backs against the wall. Really, if you're going to get second place now, you're going to have to win tomorrow night. You're going to have to sweep and tech, which, by the way, they're very capable of doing. And you analyze it, if Minnesota, and they're playing at home, winning 3-2, beats Duluth, they are tied with Wisconsin with 42 points, and Duluth would be with 43. And so all of a sudden, you're now in a race now with Minnesota and Duluth for second place. And it becomes even more difficult now because you're competing with two teams.
And it's played down to the corner on the near boards. We're down to the far side now, over to pick it up. And it's Revac and Ford trying to hold the zone. Knocking it down, picked up by Emmons. Emmons with the puck now. Emmons circling in the neutral zone, driving it in over the blue line. Chased back in behind the cage. Around to McKenzie, back over to Tuttle. Tuttle with the puck on the near side and coming over to try and pick it up. Ford on the wing on the near boards, played back of the net with 2:59 remaining. As coming back over to set it up now is Tuttle working back of the net. Just a matter now of skating out the time here. 7-3 the score. Northern is going to win the game. They are going to be 21-12-1 on the season and 38 points in the WCHA. And that would only make them 4 behind the Badgers, as a matter of fact. And the puck loose down in the corner, and it's picked up by Ford. Ford with it now. Ford will move it out of the zone with 2:27 remaining. Ford played it down to the corner to the right side. Chasing it down is Mellenby along with Pat Ford and Ernie Vargas. Comes to the wing on the near side as the Badgers try to hold the zone. Moved up ice, cutting it over the line, moving toward the net. As Track trying to come back to Great on the near side. And the puck comes loose on the near boards as a few people beginning to file out. I think the rest of them are sitting here in disbelief, Bill. But I think maybe the fans and somebody else underestimated Northern Michigan and their ability a little bit, huh?
I think you're probably right. I got a trivia stat coming up here for you in case you tie Minnesota for second and third.
And it's set up, and the puck comes loose. Richter will
the wheels are just turning around.
Okay, go ahead.
Because that could happen. If Minnesota sweeps Duluth, which you don't know if it's going to happen, and we split here, we're tied with 44 points, and then depending on the last weekend what happens, if Minnesota and Wisconsin tie, they split their series, each with a 2 wins.
Total goals.
And the total goals in the series is dead even.
Right.
And then you go to goal for differential, and Wisconsin isn't going to make that difference up. They're down about 16.
And the face-off of the draw. What's the trivia? We figured out what the answer was.
Well, that's if all those things happen, that's the trivia.
And we have 1:32 remaining here. Way down to the corner, and we'll have an icing.
And we got a 3-2 Minnesota over Duluth in the third period now. And North Dakota 5-3 late in the second at North Dakota. They're going to win that game. And We got Denver 6-4 in the third period, starting the third period at Tech. So nothing really there. The Minnesota one now, and Duluth becomes the key. Denver with the win tonight, and Minnesota wins is just about home free. And Northern Michigan and North Dakota, I don't think can catch either one of Minnesota, Wisconsin. They're 4 and 5 points behind.
We understand Denver is a final, 6-5.
6-5?
6-5 final, we understand.
That got tight. You got that in your little ear there, did you? Or
yes,
what?
I did.
Okay, we'll put 6-5. So they had a little tough time up there at Holton, but they did win it.
And the puck is loose now, going back of the net, 1:24 remaining. And moving it up ice, stick handling with the puck. Here's Savarin. Savarin with it, played it to the Badger line, 7-3. Emmons leading the way at 3 goals tonight. Set a new Northern Michigan record for goals in a season with 43. And moved up ice, controlling it, 1:05 remaining. Got to get over the line. Pat Ford lost control of the puck. Savarin with it. And he'll have man it up ice. We have 1 minute remaining, and now we've got Stanton throwing some punches, along with one of the Wildcats at center ice, and they'll go to the penalty box.
So we're going to go up to 17 and 18 penalties in the game, and there really was only 9 through 2 periods. And Stanton will go in, and they'll take Wright from Northern Michigan with them, and that'll get us up in penalties to 9 and 9. That's good. There's once in a while the theory it works. So we'll give them roughing. Well, the Badgers are going to have to regroup, Paul, come back, set the goal that they must win the next 3 games. And if they win the next 3 games and play good, solid hockey and play disciplined hockey and don't take a lot of unnecessary penalties, they still can finish in second place.
What has happened, though, Bill, with the loss is now Denver has a 4-point lead over the Badgers with 3 games to play, and there's no way.
No,
right?
Denver's home free.
And it's
unless Duluth wins tonight, then Duluth's still in the hunt.
But with a 4-point lead over the Badgers and 3 games left, no way they're going to pick up 4 points there.
I think you're probably right. I think Denver is assured of probably winning the league. And we got to wait for
However, if
else.
Duluth would, as you mentioned, if they would win, they'd only be 1 back because they'd have 45.
They got to win again in Minneapolis, and they got to win twice in Northern. I don't think they're going to do that.
41 seconds remaining here in the third period. 7-3 the score. A lot of empty seats now. People beating the crowd here tonight. Not very impressive performance. But those things happen. Give credit to the other team and wonder what happened to the Badgers.
There are nights like that in every athletic endeavor.
And the puck is loose along on the far wing, knocking it down in the neutral zone. Coming over, Marty Wiedela. Wiedela tried to pick it up with it. Emmons almost picked up another loose puck. Take it away. Wiedela back over to Tuttle. 15 seconds remaining. Get over the line, and with the puck loose on the near wing boards, picked up by Emmons. And we have 8 seconds remaining. We've only had 2 goals scored in the last 2 periods. After we had 8 scored in the first, Emmons moved it right out in front, shot it wide, and we've come to the end, where tonight the Wildcats of Northern Michigan University have defeated the Wisconsin Badgers by a final score of 7-3.